All right, sure. All right, we got 5 people who are gonna be playing, I think.
Oh shoot!
Or, well, including myself.
Yeah, it looks like it's got in-game voice. Are we doing that then?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's Larksa, Salad, and Apollo joining us.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll hop off here. Just send me lobby stuff or whatever when you're ready.
Okay. I'll stay in the call, but I'm just gonna mute my mic.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Yo, I'm excited for this game. The reviews for this game are insane. We could ask Bach to play. Is he streaming? Wait, no, he's online. It's his day off. Wait, is it?
Hello? Oh?
Hello?
Where's pizza chat?
On.
Howdy.
Wait, does my mic work?
Wait, I think now you sounds like you have the wrong microphone.
Oh.
Is that controller mic again?
What about now?
Ah!
What about now?
Yeah, that's
am
loud.
I really loud?
Oh,
okay.
God. Okay.
Sorry.
I turned you down. Wait, were you talking into your controller mic for that? Or
I don't know. Well, no. It's my mic now. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, you're good. I just have to put you at 50%.
Gotcha.
Just.
Oh yeah, I wonder if there's toggle mute.
I didn't see it. Yeah. And as I always do, I complained. One day they'll add push to mute as a standard.
Overwhelmingly positive and no toggle mute. This is bullshit.
I'm fucking downvoting this game. I like our little dudes that talk.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, it's like South Park.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Do you guys want to do a 4-way chat merge?
Well, Logos
Yes.
and I are already together.
Yeah, we're already
okay.
merged.
But I can
it's
invite
fine.
you to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to invite Apollo too.
Big party.
Hold on.
Wait, I think okay, wait, I'm gonna let her know.
Wait,
Dude,
do we
I hear
wanna do
myself.
Yeah, you're echoing.
Oh.
Lark's
You have speakers
echoing.
on, Larksa?
No, I'm on my headphones.
Oh no, Dist is echoing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I hear her through, I think, your headphones.
Yeah, this game is up to
change
6
color.
people.
Ooh.
Okay, new chat. Okay, you can send the merge invite now. Should work.
The thing is, we have shared chat on. This is gonna be...
Yeah, 4-way.
This might be a... Okay. Alright, this is gonna be fucking insane.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Did I invite you?
Nice ping salad.
Oh.
Kind of fucked up actually that you'd say that.
Salad, are you streaming?
Yeah, but that's not really which points invited me, is there?
I mean, if you wanna...
It doesn't matter. Re-invite.
Okay, go on then. Go on then. Go on then.
Did you send the merged invite?
I'm about to.
Okay.
Get ready, chat.
Is there a push to
Oh,
mute?
there it is.
By the way.
No, there isn't.
No.
Well, there's push to
Yeah.
talk, but yeah, no toggle mute. I don't think.
Okay.
Unless, wait, maybe in the controls. Sometimes it's like a separate button.
I looked there.
Oh, okay.
I just see push to talk.
It could be once you get in game, I guess.
I'm here.
Yeah, I don't have an invite yet.
Wait, what?
Oh, wait, can you send me
No,
the
I sent you an
probably?
invite.
Yeah, wait, maybe send me a link.
Oh.
Like the
No,
invite
yeah,
link.
it literally says awaiting response.
No, yeah, I mean, okay, I'll see if I can find it somewhere.
Alright, well, here. I mean, I can send it to you on Discord.
Yeah.
Don't forget to change your colors, guys, before we get started.
You can change your color?
Yeah, right
Player
above
join
leave.
session.
Oh shit.
There you go.
Yeah.
What a dangerous place to put it.
Yeah. Oh, I think.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Wait, Demented Salad, I don't think you're muted on the Twitch thing.
How do
Yeah,
I
that's what it
do
is.
that?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I heard double.
Go
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
like, the guest star page and just click, like, the mic
Yeah,
button
there
on
it
the
is.
bottom. Yeah.
Nice.
Fucking.
Nice.
Aw, look at our chats all cozy cuddled
Yeah,
together.
so cozy!
Cute.
What a mess.
What a clump. Absolute puddle of Twitch chat.
Come
Alright. Y'all ready?
Alright, okay. Done.
I have
Wait,
no
where do
idea
you
what we're
change?
doing,
Oh,
but-
change color. I want to be orange.
Oh.
Wait, this is
Confirm.
Omega.
Wait, in
Hold on.
settings? Oh, no, here.
Yeah.
Omega?
Oh!
Oh, you unmuted yourself in Discord. Why are
Oh,
we in
shit.
Discord? I'm leaving Discord.
Okay, yeah, leave Discord, yeah.
I left.
my bad, my bad.
All right.
Alright, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta get a pizza out of the oven in 8 minutes. So whatever
Oh my god,
happens,
nice.
happens.
Ooh,
Alright.
jelly.
Whatever happens.
What kind of pizza?
Oh shoot.
Oh?
Hello.
I didn't do a
Okay.
tutorial.
Hi.
So I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
same.
we
No
also have
tutorial.
Okay. Okay, let's go.
Taxman.
Okay. Bam.
Wait, what is happening?
Oh, it's V to push
Is
to
it-
talk, I think it says.
Oh,
V.
wait.
I'm gonna leave it on
Oh,
open
V.
mic.
Oh, yeah, you can
It's
do
probably
push to
more
talk,
fun
but you
that
can't
way.
Yeah, mine is open.
Can't
mic.
toggle mute.
Yeah. I'm doing open mic.
What
Fuck
the
it.
hell
Yeah.
are we
Yeah,
doing?
YOLO.
Taxman
Is this
$0.
gambling?
So no one played
If
this
you-
before?
No.
Okay.
If you click and hold on the envelope, it does this. What's over here?
Oh, the taxman.
Extraction point
Oh,
activated.
my pot timed out Apollo.
Funny.
Oh, we have like
I
a
wish we could
card.
see each other's name.
Oh.
I don't know
Oh,
who
you
is
can.
who.
I think we could put loot in this thing, guys.
Oh, I see it now.
If you get close, you can, yeah.
Oh god. Oh. I think I'm gonna kill my bot.
Ah, it's okay. Let them.
Let them fight.
The bot wars.
Oh, there's a door here.
no.
There's a door over here too.
I see a shiny.
Oh, I took it. Did I take it?
Yeah, there's a...
Oh my god.
Oh, mine
I
is
broke it, I
2,500.
think.
That's
I don't
bad.
think that's
Wait,
good.
what?
Oh, you can't like go over them. You have to like maybe put them on the thing. Oh,
Maybe.
Oh my god.
oh if you
You
if you
try-
walk into someone, it breaks it. Oh.
Oh, what?
What is this?
All right, guys.
Hey, she's
I'm
broken
getting
on
this thing
Mark's
out of
Oh,
here.
it is a monster!
Oh
Arms!
Oh, broke it.
Oh my god.
Stuff too. What?
Oh,
Did she
God.
die?
Hey, Lobos.
No, no,
good?
no.
How do you
Okay,
pick
well,
it up?
that's
I
fine.
broke a cup.
Yeah, it's really hard to like. Oh, this toilet
You
opens.
can go Ella size.
Oh, you're so tiny.
What the?
Yeah.
Wait, how do you do that?
Control.
Just crouch.
Yeah.
Ooh, can we
Real
go in
Ella
this hole?
size, my god.
No.
Oh.
Cute.
Rip.
Aw,
Cute.
cute.
Scammed.
Here, this is $600. Like, what do you do with it? Because I
Put it in
Okay,
the
okay.
in the
Damn,
container
Oh my
Grandma.
thing.
gosh, yeah, broke it.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, if you like walk into people, it
Can
breaks
launch
whatever you're
yourself with
holding.
Q. Wait, guys, look at
Here you go,
me.
this is
Yeah.
$499.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Where are
okay,
you?
I get it.
What?
I get it.
How do you
Move.
do that?
Wait, move.
Did you guys like
Move, I got
that?
$500 intel
No.
here.
Wait, how do you do that?
Look. Okay.
What was that?
Everyone out of the way.
Oh god, there's a guy shooting stuff!
What?
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Oh,
There's a guy!
Jesus
Oh,
Christ!
oh god!
What is this
Close the
dude
door.
doing?
Oh god! He's not gonna see us.
No, we're fine. Lobos got fucking blasted.
Oh,
What is going on over there? Are they okay?
I don't know.
Did they close the door on us?
Oh, can we come in?
Wait.
Hi,
Hi.
guys. Yeah, come in the bathroom.
Oh, is it?
Alright,
Oh, you
Lobos
can
is
go
dead.
poopy. Lobos is dead?
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Wait, look, this is so funny looking. Look at this.
That's so stupid. What did you go in there? Aw.
Poopy time. Yeah, where's the numbers?
I successfully put 2 things in the thing.
Oh, nice. All right, actually
Oh,
doing
the
good.
cards?
Good job.
Yeah.
Gaming.
There's one thing here that I think.
I think we broke
Oh.
everything already.
Can you push me?
Okay. I have 800, 600 to the fuck away.
Oh,
Okay, all right, don't worry.
Alright, we can
Oh
put
no.
it in here.
Oh no.
Yeah, feed it to Apollo.
Hang on, hold. Hold.
Give it to me.
Easy.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Oh, Christ.
Where do we drive to?
Oh, I got something as well.
There's another door over here, I think, but it was blocked by whatever the hell that thing was.
Peppo,
shit.
vroom.
Oh,
Putting
nice.
this in?
So much loot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, we're getting
Okay, yeah,
rich.
there's a door here.
Yeah.
Bull
Like
Lobos.
2K. Let's go for a
Damn.
Starforged computer.
Let's go.
The classic. Lobo spends half the game dead.
What?
The fuck was that?
What was that? Did you see that?
No, what was it?
I don't know. Let's investigate.
I heard
What
something.
kind of monster? Oh, wait. Wait.
What?
Nah, nah,
This?
nah, nah,
Is
nah,
that
fuck
you?
off.
What?
Nah, fuck off this.
Wait, that's not good, I don't think.
Wait!
Go.
Wait, how did he do that? Why was he a robot? Why was he Texas teaching?
Well
What
done.
was that? Yeah, what?
Yeah, you fucking
What's
stay away
that?
from me, Dave.
Oh, I got a vase. 3,000.
Oh, nice.
All right, I'm putting it in. Careful.
Wow, that's so good.
Oh, it's so gonna break. Oh,
That's fine.
I'm
Apollo
underneath the vase.
Blocked it with her
oh
head.
god.
Easy clap.
All right, maybe we should just take our loot out and get Lobos back.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, yeah.
There's this way, innit?
Dude, it's like I'm pushing like my child.
Is it this way?
Like,
You're at the fucking. There's this
the
way.
stroller.
Like, you're at the fucking supermarket or something.
Okay.
We're on our way, Lobos.
Oh shit, dude! I killed Salad. Fuck.
Fucking hit and run over here. I saw that.
Wow, you don't know how the driver's license.
Who
I'm
let
okay.
Marksa drive this thing?
Damn.
Wow.
My bad, guys.
Oh my god,
Wait.
an alien!
Oh, it's a
Where's
glorp.
Wait, we need the
Oh, it's
Lobos
Glorp.
head.
It's
Wait,
a
is that his head?
glorp.
Oh,
Extract-
reviving their
Extract his head. Okay.
Oh.
Am I extracting
Wow.
it?
You can put it in there.
I don't know.
So you put it in the
here,
basket. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Let's go.
That's right.
Glorp, glorp.
Glurp, glurp.
How do we leave?
Maybe
Oh.
use the taxi man?
Yeah. Now what? Oh.
Wait, do we need to like put loot
Did
somewhere?
we do it?
Zero-
Maybe
Should I go out?
on.
He's sad.
Well,
He's
$0
sad.
plus truck equals sad. We need to.
Maybe we have to. Put
Maybe
them
we
on
need to
these
take it
here.
out.
Careful! I'm holding the face.
Yeah, don't break it. Don't break.
Okay, okay.
Careful!
Try putting them on these. It looks like I don't know, weights or something.
Wait, on what?
Like
Oh,
these-
shit,
these
you're right.
little-
Oh god.
Oh, you broke it!
No, I
I
didn't
saw
break
that
it. It
disc.
lost
Yeah!
$65 value. It's okay.
I saw it.
Okay, my face is still fine.
Okay, I'm scared of moving. 'cause
Can
I'm
we
scared of
sell
breaking things
Lobos?
When I jump.
I'll put him here too.
Alright. I saw that disc.
Yeah, we saw.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to put the cart
Good-
where the
No!
head is.
I'm sorry.
Oh! Apparently you have to put the cart where the head is, or where we found the head.
Whoa!
Oh.
I don't know, maybe try like this
With the
first,
things
but
inside?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, what does it say
Should've done
here?
the tutorial? No.
Was there a tutorial?
Yeah, we put the cart here, the cart here.
Oh.
Yeah, with the loot.
yeah!
Well,
Okay.
fuck.
All the loot back.
Yeah. Just if somebody breaks the vase, I swear to fucking god.
Okay, here, I'll... Oh,
I.
oh my god.
Are you kidding? How? That's 8K!
It was 3K,
Oh my
and I,
fucking-
dude, no. It literally, I needed the
How?
slightest bit, and it blew up. Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Did you just blow up the?
Oh fuck!
What the hell just happened?
Hello?
I'm so confused.
What's happening?
What are they doing?
Oh, it's the shooty guy that found us.
Marks have just got shotgun.
Oh, he's in there.
Oh. Uh-oh. They gonna die. He looks like the Little Nightmares guy, the hunter. Ruh-roh.
Oh god.
I think he's gone.
I think he's.
No, no,
He's not gone. He's not gone.
Oh, rip. Nice try.
Oh, oh no.
Maybe he's attracted to sound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you can't talk, yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't talk near him, okay.
He's gonna carry us.
Yeah, he's got it. I mean, he broke
Surely.
the vase. I'm not sure how
After,
much
yeah,
hope I
after
have.
breaking the
Yeah.
vase. Oh.
God, that's so sad. All our dead heads.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Ooh! Oh god.
Yeah, Grandpa's camping.
He's camping.
Oh, hello. What'd I miss? I got my pizza.
We all got
We all
shot.
died.
Y'all got
Yeah.
blasted?
Yeah.
Yeah, Grandpa killed us.
hmm
Well, guess that's how it goes. Did y'all figure out how to give the
No.
stuff? No? Oh.
Well, kind of. We think so. He's
yeah,
doing
there's
it
like
now.
a platform where you can
Yeah,
put the cart.
do you put it next to the
To the sad
Oh.
face there, yeah.
the sad face?
Mm. Yeah!
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
not enough though.
think he has
Oh,
six.
we
6K
did it.
more.
Oh god.
Alright,
Oh.
Sal, you got this.
Mhm.
Oh,
What?
What do I do?
Oh, nice.
Oh, he has to hit a button.
okay.
Okay.
Bro.
So after
There we go
that, you have to
again.
hit a button apparently.
That doesn't count. That was like warm-up round.
Yeah.
That was the tutorial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tutorial.
Mhm.
Now we know what to do.
What?
Whoa!
What?
Oh.
Wait!
What the fuck?
Wait, is this Fallout?
Yeah,
Wait, are we fighting?
Fall guys now? What the fuck?
Wait, so much loot!
Oh!
I want this
Right, I got-
dinosaur's the dinosaur skeleton.
Me
What the
The
hell?
dinosaur!
Fuck you,
Die,
Dick.
Sally.
No.
too! I want this!
Yes,
Wait,
no.
Apple, we need to kill each other. Grab the hammer.
No.
Wait, how do you... That! What the hell? How do you swing your
knocked
hammer?
off.
How do you grab
I don't know. I was just dragging it up and down.
I'm sorry, Apollo.
Oh,
I think you might have to swing with it though. I'm not sure.
Damn it, the ends.
yeah.
Go.
I
What?
Damn.
Come on.
Whoa.
The minute the last man standing again.
Wow.
Damn. I didn't figure out how to pick
Shit.
up a weapon.
Yeah,
What do I
same.
do now?
Yeah.
Oh, a little crown.
Oh,
nice.
Jesus fuck.
King of the losers! Oh,
Let's go. I'm good for
Congrats.
something.
nice.
Yeah, you
Let's
picked
try
up a
again.
gun and threw it
Yeah,
away.
let's go next.
Oh.
Okay, now we know what to
Alright.
do.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, what is this?
That was
heal?
fucked up.
Yeah, this is where we have to put our stuff.
Yeah, this is a new place. Swift Broom Academy.
Oh yeah.
Does this heal you?
Oh.
There's wizards on the wall.
Wizards?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, okay,
What
what?
the fuck?
What
Wait,
does that do?
wizards?
Did I explode? I didn't take any damage. Oh.
They look
How do you
very
see your HP?
cozy.
Whoa,
Wait,
whoa, whoa.
oh.
I opened the door.
Ah!
Wait, am I? Oh, okay, okay.
What the fuck?
Okay. Oh wow,
Yeah.
so cool.
We need to push the carts.
I'll hear something.
Oh,
Yes,
there's more
something
cauldrons.
here.
Oh, this is very expensive. Be careful.
Mm.
Wait, how'd you do that?
do
Yeah,
that?
we're both.
Where's
Wait,
the
how'd
cart?
you do that?
Wait, hang on. You go first.
Is the cart here?
Oh, the cart is there, yeah. I wonder how to do the text-to-speech voices.
Wait, where is the cart?
It's right here.
Oh, it's over here.
Oh,
Oh,
cart's over here, yeah.
I want to do that too. Why are you guys not telling us?
What?
You're just laughing.
I want to know.
Press T.
Look,
Press T and type.
Press T.
Guys,
oh,
I saw
okay,
some
okay.
really big loot in there. You should go check it out.
That sounds very suspicious. I don't think.
Oh, nice, nice. Whoa, whoa, no, no!
What'd you do?
Oh, no, no, no. No, sir, no, sir.
Okay.
I'm going in here.
All right. Did the others die?
I don't know. I think they're okay.
No, it's fine. Oh my god, Giga vase.
Oh, I got a crown.
Ooh.
Somebody's dead.
Where's everybody's head? Oh, hi.
Hi. Is the card
here's a
back
head.
here?
Yeah, I put it in the loot
Okay.
spot. Yeah, some cheese, large. And salad. Have your heads.
We almost have enough money.
Safe.
Oh, God,
Yeah, we
he's-
do.
Oh, we do?
He's here.
Crap.
Oh.
Have to turn off one.
Oh, tax return. Oh!
What?
Let's see where you. I'm alive.
Oh, wait.
What is happening?
You guys did it! Congrats!
Oh, you were dead! I thought you were dead!
God damn it,
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
He killed all
We
of
are like
us.
He
lasers!
nuked us.
Yeah, we got hyped and that thing just murked us all. Oh no.
Oh, there you go again.
Okay.
Gotta find a good weapon.
How do I
Is it
shoot
working?
this thing?
Is it working? I'm just gonna spin to win. Do you even?
Oh!
No!
Get away from me!
Stay away, I have a scepter.
Die,
Coming for you
Apollo.
like that.
Stay away, stay away!
No, I'm coming for you.
Stay away! Am I doing damage? I don't
Yeah,
know!
you're doing damage.
What the?
How do you do damage? What are you doing?
I don't know!
Oh!
Oh shit!
Hey, get that squeaky hammer out of here.
No!
What the? I'm gonna blow you off.
No! Stop blowing me!
I fell!
Oh!
Oh!
Wow.
Everyone's
guys-
a loser,
What?
damn.
You guys aren't the
we,
biggest loser like me. You know, what can I
damn.
say? We're not the same. This one.
30 times a time. What should you even do when we get enough money, though?
I think
We
you just got a
leave.
dip, but
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we leave.
Yeah.
we just didn't get the chance.
Okay, alright. Alright.
I do like the strat of
Oh.
leaving the cart on the thing.
Yeah, that's a good strat.
Ooh.
Oh, it's like person.
Yeah, 600 bucks.
Oh yeah.
Chest.
Ooh. Wow, diamond!
Get it? Oh,
Diamond.
who broke it?
Broke?
It wasn't me.
Who broke it? Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh.
There ain't no way.
This. Alright, I don't know what
Two people
this
interrupted
is.
me the time.
Oh.
Oh.
You broke that?
Hey, your face was worth 300 apparently.
Famously breakable diamonds.
Oh, it's so hard to maneuver things.
All right. 3K.
Easy. Yeah.
I don't have any stamina.
Is it on me? Is it on me?
Oh,
Oh
God!
God! Oh Jesus!
Oh no!
It's not hurting me.
Wait, what is happening?
Lobos ain't doing so well.
That's fine.
Is he dead?
You know, he's vomiting on everyone. That's gonna get us all fucking killed, I bet you anybody.
Oh, there's
Like
a chest.
blow
All
up or
right, I'm
some
gonna
shit.
hold it. Oh wait, I fully opened it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Whoa, buckle. The fuck is the Green Goblin mask over here?
Oh,
I wonder what it sounds like if it transforms our voice.
Somebody
Diamond.
beat this off me. Beat this off me.
I do not want to beat.
It's gone.
Oh, that looks good.
Okay. Yeah.
Got a
It's
frickin'
Green
goblin head.
mask. Yeah. This is Spider-Man memorabilia right here. Oh yeah.
The scary mask.
Oh, you're okay now.
That
I'm
was
okay.
terrifying.
I didn't
nice.
take any damage or anything. Really.
Nice. Oh, there's like a. Oh, this isn't a good room. Oh god.
Oh no, that's really bad.
Apollo.
Oh no! No! What the hell?
What do you want me to do?
All right, we got. Oh,
There's a slicer in there. I'd be careful. Be careful.
in the.
Yeah,
God.
Apollo's dead. Rubik's Cube.
Okay. You're gonna have to be careful with this door. Okay, okay. Oh! Right.
Oh! 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 Oh!
Me?
But yeah, I'm sure I'll be fine.
Oh, I just lost.
I don't think they're bringing me back.
Enough, barely.
Back.
I'm going.
It's okay.
I'm going.
It's okay. It's all good. Back.
I don't think it is.
It's all good. Okay, now I don't know. Now I'm lost mental.
We'll rescue you. Good. Any other
Oh, this you died. What happened?
There's only like one more item.
Yeah, I hid from the lady who killed you, and she chopped me up
We have
under
an item
the
that's worse.
under the ledge.
Oh my god.
Oh, what?
Wait, we're gonna. need
Yeah,
three of us, I
like
think,
she
to look
crouched
at
down
Yeah.
and cut me up.
I'm with.
Yeah, well deserved for having me killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh.
She was so scary though. Oh my god.
I'll wait.
Yes.
till-
Yeah, I don't know how to get away from her.
Tap,
Okay.
tap,
Yeah.
tap.
Can't
What? She was so
even hide.
quick.
Okay,
There we
bring
go.
it in.
There we go.
Is she close to here now?
Up. Can we get more?
I'm not sure.
Put it on the cart. Do it.
Holy.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
that's
fine.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Holy
Oh
shit.
my
this?
god, that's
Is
so
this
much.
dead?
He's fucking dead. Press the button. Okay.
Oh, you pressed the button. Okay,
Wait, we
all right.
gotta revive
I'm
them.
leaving. I'm leaving.
Yeah, we gotta go to
Oh.
extraction.
So I wonder what happens if they don't revive us. Like,
Uh.
oh,
Yeah, what happened?
Apollo's
It's
back.
I think I hear
think.
Apollo.
Yeah. I rezzed her. I brought her head back.
Like, will I come back at some point?
Now you do this.
Yeah, what's
We
this?
didn't get his
Oh,
head.
where is he?
Oh!
Oh, you
we
didn't
need
get
his
his head.
head.
Oh,
Oh.
fuck.
No, we
Where
did-
is he? Where is he?
Wait, where is his head?
This is not gonna end well, guys.
Yeah, there's a really scary lady with like scissor
I
hands.
apprecight them looking out for me, but this is not gonna. Just-
She's pretty
Oh,
scary.
okay. Wait, but okay.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Back. No, I think it's just a. I don't know. You have
do
to
this?
do surely.
We could kill her, maybe.
I think it's if you want to revive somebody in the mission,
Oh,
because you don't have to leave.
No, I'm freaking gun. Yeah, fuck you, Des.
We gotta see what happens.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm back. So
you
I
back?
think it's just if you want to
Yeah.
res somebody during the mission, so you can like keep looting.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a shop.
Ooh.
Ah. And
Oh, we
it's
should try and get like
90K.
a. There's a gun.
Oh,
This Omega hammer is 12K.
Omega
Wow.
hammer.
Inflatable
Damn.
hammer.
Is that
Look at this bad boy.
fries? Oh, it's energy crystal. Never mind. Boring.
Is it
No.
fried?
Mm.
Oh, there's a valuable tracker
There's a
here.
gun.
Oh, there's
Hey,
a
that seems
baby
pretty
car
good.
here. There's
Oh.
a
Oh,
little one.
pocket card.
Oh.
Cute.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, it's so funny.
What's in here? Oh, it's a bathroom.
Oh.
A bathroom? Oh, let's fucking piss.
Oh,
Yeah, let's fucking
Go piss,
Group
Go piss, girl.
We're all getting in the toilet. Great. All right.
That's not a sight I ever wanted to see.
Come on,
this.
everybody, lock this in. No.
trap.
Oh my god.
TPS.
Oh, it doesn't do the whole ventrilos.
1
Should we buy
quintillion,
something?
1 trillion.
You have 19K.
Oh, yeah.
What do we think? Should we get the
Reach
valuable
around.
tracker? This seems useful.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's it seems true.
There's a stun grenade for 3K. Wait. There's
Oh, okay,
upgrades
okay.
here. Look at this.
Oh?
Wow.
Health, sprint
Oh.
speed, extra jump.
Oh. Is that for all of us, you think?
I guess.
Maybe.
I hope
Gotta
so.
be, right? Wait, what is tumble launch? Tumble launch upgrade.
Oh, so when you
I don't know.
if you press Q, you can do this.
You.
Oh, shit.
Wait.
That's so
Oh.
cool.
If you're like sprinting, you could do it like it's like a bit of a jump, like a
Damn.
jump, I think.
What?
This is
That's
such
cute.
a discoded game.
Yeah, it's
I
like a
assume it's
roll.
to try and like
Maybe
just avoid a shot or
we should do
something.
a stamina upgrade. It's only 2K.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I get
Let's see
it.
if it applies to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to run.
Stamina's kind of rough in this game.
Can we ban
Okay.
that button?
Oh.
What if I get on here?
Oh!
Whoa!
I'm back.
Do you feel different?
Oh.
Yeah, my stamina's way better.
Oh,
Wait, it's
Wait,
not.
how
wow.
much? I don't have
Wait,
more
no.
stamina. Is it
I
regen?
have the
you
same
think?
amount.
I don't know.
Maybe.
There's
I
another
have one
stamina
health
upgrade
now.
there, so.
You
I'm
have one
taking-
health?
I'm taking a health upgrade. No, actually.
Oh, yeah, do that because it might heal me. I'm taking heal.
Oh yeah, do
Oh
it,
my
do it.
god, fucking.
I want the
Same
sprint
here.
upgrade. I want to. How do I use this?
Wait! No!
Holy shit!
Oh god.
Wait, okay. How do
yeah,
I use
100
this?
total health? Holy.
Oh, I'm still at 1.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
the
yeah, I
compress
said total
me.
health.
I don't know. I don't think you want to stand in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
No, we're probably not going to heal before the next mission.
I think I died. Oh,
What the fuck are we doing?
This is going to be a no-hit run.
Yeah.
There's this.
I don't understand what the
Small-
stamina upgrade
that-
does.
wait.
Somebody
am
said
I
you get it
upgraded
during
now?
the map.
Here,
It's like
medium
a
health
during-
pack.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Medium health pack, 5k.
Yeah.
Let's stay
Oh
There we
away.
my
go.
god.
All
Sunken
right.
costs, we got it. How many people can use it? Wait. Oh, it's gonna go into the. Oh.
I didn't get any.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna get
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
it later, maybe.
Okay. I fucking hope so.
Uh, let's
We
go.
just used all our money.
Fuck.
Okay.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
we're full health.
Oh, here they
Gear
are.
up!
Hell yeah.
Oh!
I'm not full healed.
No.
What? I'm 100 health. Wait, the med pack.
I'm
what
at
the-
the 100 health too.
Oh.
I used the med pack.
Yeah, I used
Oh
one of
my
the stamina
God.
upgrades.
Griefing.
I used to sprint.
Yeah, I was at
Griefing.
1 health. All right.
There's fries in here.
There's a health
Okay,
here.
so-
Oh, fries!
Oh,
It,
fries!
Mm.
it did give me an extra 10 stamina, the stamina upgrade.
So
Mm.
I didn't get stamina, but I am full health now. That's
Oh,
good.
that's good.
Wait, where do we?
You're
oh.
a tank.
All right, sounds good.
I
What?
assume that as long as you stay alive, the upgrade lasts, I would guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Headman Manor.
Okay. Oh wow, so cool.
Yeah.
Says
There's a lot of different
Headman Manor.
environments,
Who
it's
is
quite nice.
Yeah,
Headman?
it's really
Oh.
cool. Oh wow.
Oh no, spider
Beware.
webs.
Spiders.
Beware.
Oh yeah.
Voters.
Larks. Okay.
What?
Oh.
Oh, chest.
Oh, a crown. Oh, it's only 600. Is the cart back here? Oh no!
Oh, whoopsie. I think we should move the cart a little bit.
Yeah, maybe we should move the carts a little bit.
Wait. Oh!
I think your crown went inside it. It's all
It
good.
did, it did.
Careful, careful.
Okay.
It's right here,
I'll
Lark.
take this.
It's
Oh
right.
wait,
You
Lobos.
want
That's
past
Lobos.
it.
Careful. Okay.
Larks, be careful.
Oh,
Don't
that's
tell
it.
me you broke the vase.
Oh my god!
I didn't
All
break
right, I'm gonna
anything,
leave it
the game broke
right
it.
here. I think this.
Perfect.
Ooh, that's not a good sign.
Lamp? That sounds bad.
There's another door here.
It's making me spin in circles.
What is happening?
Oh, I don't know if I want to take that.
It's not so easy, is it?
It's a cute little ducky.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay, headman is over there.
Oh.
Headman is
Okay.
coming.
There's another path this way if you want to come in here.
Okay, there's a monkey. $1,000. Hold on, wait. What, is this closed door the way to go?
I don't know. There's two different ways. There's another path. There's like ton of doors over here.
Oh Jesus, bro, headman's gonna get us.
No. He's going
No?
towards the people talking.
Okay.
This is where you were.
I
Can
believe
we
you.
open this?
Yeah. Oh shit.
We have a fireplace here. No way we'll get hurt.
That's true. Oh, nice portrait. Oh, what's this on the ground? Oh, crappy stopwatch.
Mm.
Can you throw things? Oh. There's a duck! Duck! There's a duck!
Oh, this duck?
I don't like it. I don't like it. Wait, I got it stuck under the table. Wait, it's going around. Oh!
Oh god, it jumped up.
I don't like this.
Alright, let's go, let's go,
He's
let's
looking
go.
at me. I broke him. Can I pick him up? Oh my god! Apex Predator, bro! Jesus!
Lobos?
Don't touch the duck! Wait, I'm alive!
I need to get Lobo's head. Well, actually, oh. I need big loot. Oh, fuck. Oh. I don't know what to do. Is anyone even alive? Dude, we have no money. Oh wait, it's all in the cart. Okay. This way. Do I need to bring the cart in here? Oh shit.
I came back. Oh, look at the cute little dog. You should grab it.
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I saw what happened to you. Wait, so can we not leave? Wait, it says 1 out of 2.
Oh, wait. 1 out of 2 what?
It just said, I think it said there's multiple extraction points on the map. I don't know, I was zoning out. I was focused
1
on.
out of 2 cards, maybe?
I think we just need to find the other extraction point.
Oh, yeah.
Which...
Oh, there's a Luta.
There's a map.
Oh, there's someone's head. I found someone's head. I know who's head is. I think Apollo's.
Sorry. Could I go res Apollo? Maybe I could have res Lobos.
Yeah,
probably could have. Wait, no, it's gone now. Oh, it's only one time. I fucked up. Yeah, I should have grabbed Lobos' head.
Aww.
I'm sorry, Lobos. I did also see Apollo's head. Or was maybe Sal's?
Yeah, that's Apollo's head in there.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, the minute's head is the shape of a lettuce.
Whoa. Yo.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Oh! Oh! Klocka! Klocka.
Clarkson?
Yeah! Put it to the carts! Just.
I can't, it's freaking out!
Oh, just okay, let's just get out of here, let's get out of here. Just fucking push this shit.
Oh no, I gotta put it in! Oh, Lark's is dead. Oh, it fell out. Get in there, you stupid thing. Is it? Where do I go? This is a dead end. It's the other way. Oh my god. All right, I will try my best. Grab her head. Oh yeah. Maybe I should go. You know what? I can grab Lobos. Oh my god, there's not enough space. Use map. I know where to go, guys. It's okay. Oh my god, Larx's head fell out. Dude. Alright, fuck the clock. Oh my god. The doll's gone. Larx's head's gonna fall out again. Oh. Alright. Lobos is right over here. Wait, where? Gotta get Lobos. I'm just gonna die, but I'm trying my best. Can see on the map. It's fucking duck. No, this is where I was before. Okay, okay. All right, I gotta get Lobos. I'm carrying chat. I'm gonna get everybody. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just gonna die horribly. Oh, I think I found it. This has been like really tame. I'm surprised there isn't like another monster. Oh. Oh. Okay, I'm almost there. Just need a tiny bit more money. Come on. Not worth enough. Come on. Everybody's waiting on me. I need one. Where is it? It's so quiet. There was a safe there. Okay, there's 2 items here. Oh my god, it. Alright, it's fine, it's fine. Let's grab these 2 items, then we go. So does the... Oh, no, no, no!
Oh, jeez. Wow.
You jinxed it!
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That was close. Close.
I hit the duck with the stopwatch.
Disposal arena.
That's so sad. Oh no.
At least we can
Whoa!
bonk each other.
Yeah.
Ooh, what the? I've got a plank. You can't hurt me.
What the hell? That's a spear.
Wait.
What's
No
this?
fighting it because I haven't found a weapon.
What the? Oh.
Oh my god!
Wait, someone died?
Yeah, somebody.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's fucking exploded.
How the fuck? Get
How
off
do you...
the.
I don't really know how to do this.
Oh!
Whoa!
What did you do? I didn't do it! It's just auto doing it on the ground. Oh no! Ah! No!
I don't...
Oh, I'm fighting with the polo's head.
Time to
I'm
meet your
for-
maker, Larksa.
That's a gun! That's something!
Boom! Oh. I got a frying pan. Oh!
Oh shit.
How do I use this thing?
Go, polo's head, I choose you!
Die! Woohoo!
Nah, it wasn't that good.
You're the losers.
Wow.
I
You
had
know
some
what? He
bad
is king
weapons.
after that one.
I don't even know how to use the weapon.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you use the weapons?
I just like
Just
swing
hold
it back
them?
and forth, but
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with some of them
okay.
you just have to hold them in the face.
Oh. Okay.
Level 1.
That Lobo's vomiting on Lark's clip? Oh jeez.
Yeah, that one was so funny. The vomiting one was top tier.
That was hilarious.
Ooh,
Yeah.
lots, huh? Hmm.
Anything in the fridge? Oh, there is.
Oh, Pog!
Oh!
Potato!
What is that? Is that potato?
There's a
I got a
diamond
potato.
in the freezer.
Go!
That's a weird potato.
There's
No,
always
I
a
still have my
potato.
HP upgrade.
It's a Belgian potato.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, find out, fellas.
Oh wait, maybe not.
I don't have my stamina upgrade.
Hmm. Yeah. I think I
Fucking
misremembered.
open.
Hello?
What is happening?
I was laughing at the mental.
anything in the fridge? Ooh, a big ball.
Potato! Ow.
Careful.
Potato coming through.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Why did you close the door?
Lark's shut it on me. I was holding an item.
Holy shit!
Oh, we have enough,
Alright.
guys.
Wait, I got like 3 items in this room.
Okay, yeah, we can get more stuff.
Easy game, easy life.
Yeah.
In the cart. Y'all can suck it. Mode strong. Yeah, tax return.
Hell,
Where's the card?
Oh, you hit the button?
Moved it.
Wait.
Oh, a fan.
Oh my
Oh.
god! I'm alive.
Wait, what happened?
Is it over here?
Oh,
Yeah, here you go.
it turned in.
Oh.
What?
I didn't hit a button.
Here.
Wait, I'm
What
here,
happened?
here,
Yeah, I
here,
think it
here,
just
here.
does it automatically. You have
It
an
just
item?
auto- oh, that's my bad.
Scary.
That's my B.
Yeah, Apollo, look
Oh,
at
we
this.
can bring it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Can we bring him?
Yeah, what if you can like bring it with you?
Glorp.
Orp.
What is? Oh. Right.
Oh, so we beat the level already?
Oh, this thing heals.
Oh, really?
How'd you? What is that? Do you
Huh.
Easy.
Oh, it does heal us.
press a
Oh,
button
okay.
or something?
Oh.
No,
I
you just
think
walk
you can
into
just
it.
follow
Auto
up
heal.
on it, yeah.
It zaps you.
Nice. Easy.
Easy clap.
All right. Let's
I'm
go.
gonna do this. Yeah.
Hey!
All right.
Gamers!
Oh, this has a crown.
Wow.
Mm,
Damn, fancy.
Okay, so we don't keep
I
what we
just
bring
do it.
back otherwise.
Yeah.
They're like
Okay.
one-time upgrades.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, a flashbang.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
flashbang!
flush bung, yeah.
Yeah,
Drone?
flashbang.
Oh,
Shockwave
Extraction
mine.
tracker.
Small health pack.
Granada.
This is a sex toy. The shockwave grenade. Oh, so is
Oh!
this extraction?
think
Oh,
it is,
extraction
yeah.
tracker.
Grenade.
Oh.
Oh god.
Can you? Oh, can we use these right now?
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I was trying to activate the grenade. My bad.
Do we get weapons?
Oh, you can't!
What? Holy!
What the fuck?
Wow. It is not you break it, you bought it, though. Wait.
It
Please,
is
crap.
not.
I'm gonna piss.
Oh, wait, did it respawn? Hold on.
Wait!
How do you throw it? How do you throw it? Oh my god.
Oh, everything's everywhere. Oh.
Oops.
Oh, there's a grenade again.
Wow.
Oh my god!
Oh my
Holy
god.
shit.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, it replaces them. Infinite
Wait,
use.
if that's the case, then... What the
Wait,
fuck is
then we
this
can use
thing?
the health potions too, right? I mean the health pack.
Yeah, let's
I
just
don't
buy
think you can
everything we
use
can.
those.
Does
Yeah,
this
just
even deal
buy-
damage?
Oh, there's a dead guy here.
Hey guys.
It does.
What the?
Holy!
Oh my god.
Where am I? Where am I here?
She's permanently small.
Haha, we got you.
What's happening?
Oh shit!
What's wrong with me?
What the fuck?
This is
Hey,
terrifying.
Put me down!
Humanity does not deserve this power. Wait, what?
Why am I so small? Oh.
There we go. Wait, can you just do that to anyone who's small?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's only after
let's
like
hold
you get.
Lobos.
Yeah, I
Aw.
couldn't. Yeah, I think you can only do it when you've been like
Sorry, I'm
CC'd by
too
a
small.
flash grenade.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, what are we
upgrade?
doing?
Ow! Hey!
Oh no.
What the? Oh, okay. I see.
Oh no. Oh shit.
What?
What do these recharge
Blast it
drones
over
do?
here.
I don't know. Recharge drone.
Oh, right, cute.
What's that one? Oh my god. Okay, let's buy shit and get out of
Okay.
here.
Alright, I'm buying this sex toy. Wait, where's the
Wait,
turn
minus
thing?
8K. Is this the damage we cost? We have to pay for it?
Oh.
I don't know.
Wait, surely no. I've used a lot more than 8k.
Okay. Really not.
Oh, is it because? Oh, it's because.
Oh. Oh. Ah, okay.
Alright.
There's a medium health pack too. I don't
Guys,
know.
I may be on 25 health after that one.
Yeah, same.
Alright.
Load
Oh, we're all
this.
here?
Hell yeah.
I saw.
Whoa!
No, please, guys, stop. I get it. I'm British, but please.
Oh, send him
Can't
out.
do this to
Send
me.
him out.
Okay.
Alright.
Back to full
Oh,
health.
full HP again.
Jared held his other players by grabbing their necks. Yo!
Wait.
Oh, you can heal teammates.
Can you rotate me?
Oh,
that's
how
awesome.
you,
Can you rotate me?
That's so
How do you
good.
rotate?
We
Right
can
click,
share
just right
health.
click.
That's so
Keep holding left
cute.
click and then.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No, I don't think you can rotate people.
Wow.
Oh, you're
We're
rotating for me,
definitely
but
rotating, yeah, but you
Yeah,
can't
we
guess you don't see
are
it.
That's
rotating.
crazy.
My view is not, so.
that's good.
Yeah, thank
All right,
God.
okay, that's enough.
He's gonna
He's
throw up
upside
again.
down.
I'm reaching my limit. Oh, right, there's an in between. I forgot.
Alright, this is the one, fellas.
Yeah, this is the one, I believe.
2 extraction
Wow.
points.
There's so many maps.
Oh, map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, a monkey.
Oh,
I'm a
cute.
scout.
Oh! This is inside my brain all the whole time. The symbol monkey.
Oh yeah, wait. Okay.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, what the fuck is
Yeah, in the
this?
Got something big. Oh, that
Oh.
salad. I'm gonna help you.
Christmas ornaments!
Wall
Okay,
of
okay, okay.
cash.
Alright, hang on.
Wait, watch out for my goblin head.
I found a,
Oh shit,
was
watch
that a
out for the-
fucking ball?
Okay.
What
I
is
think
that?
it's like
Oh, it's
supposed
a
to be
bottle.
a
Like potion.
potion. Alright, well,
Okay, I found a big
cash.
wad of cash. There.
wait, can I hit Bobo scouting? Oh, there's a chest here.
That's probably
Big chest
fine.
ahead. Big
Oh, there's
chest
nothing in here.
ahead.
Oh, slow down. Come on. Hello?
Hi, Lobos. What's going on with you?
Yeah, where's Lobos?
Lobos?
Oh, he's got the thing on him again. Oh, wait.
No.
Oh.
Wonder if you can like upgrade the size of
slow
this
down.
cart.
What? That's oh god! This always happens to. Wait, can I try?
Hey guys, am I talking really slow now? Alright, I'm bringing this to the cart.
How it feels
Ooh,
to
I got some
speed
loot
run.
here.
That's sick.
That's kind of orc. Here, this, you try it.
Hold on. I'm
Wait,
gonna put,
where do I put? Wait, I'm not that
hold on.
fast.
Hold on. I'm gonna put this in first.
Okay, yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Can I put it in now?
Hold on.
I'm stealing it from you. It's mine. Wait, no, it's mine. Yeah, no, it's it's mine. mine. I found found it. I found it first. I want to put it. No, I was first. That's right. No, no,
All right, guys, put it in. Put it in. Drop it. Drop
Oh, man.
Oh.
Damn, that was crazy. Holy
That was
shit.
good. Did you see your pupils? The pupils
Yeah.
get huge.
Yeah. that was-
it.
Oh, the tax return.
Oh, is it not upstairs? Oh, yeah.
God,
Wait, that's so good.
Oh, we got another one.
it's me. Oh, God. Oh, okay. That's some good shit, right?
Give it. What are you taking it out? Give it back. Give it back.
That's scary.
Just put it in the cart, God's
Okay,
sake!
fine. Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Alright, let's
Alright.
get out of here.
Oh,
Addicts.
wait, we already did one extra.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know where the other point is?
If you press tab, there's a map.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, tab. We need to find this.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, there's a treasure over here.
That's a pretty good map.
that's such a good map.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, there's a question
Alright.
mark in the room.
I think it's there.
Oh, we can
Where?
complete a quest here, Apollo.
What? Let's go in there.
Oh yeah, you can open up drawers, by the way,
Let's
like
go.
these.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of them are locked.
Whoa, whoa.
Uh-oh.
what's that? Oh, it's a frog! dog!
It's okay.
Oh, that's so cute. What?
Gnomes! I don't know. There's gnomes.
It's
No, not here,
It's
gnomes.
not
Look at their eyes. Look at their faces. Holy shit. They want you and nobody else.
I'm gonna go tooth extract.
This potion makes everything absolutely
Can I gnome?
wretched.
Yeah,
Like this.
What the? Oh, guys. Hey, I need some assistance here.
Oh, they're back? What the fuck?
Lobos,
Did you find it?
help.
Okay,
We got a base.
No, this is the big bad boy.
Oh, wait.
All right, gently now. Hold on. Put it down near the front and then lay it. Well, actually, okay, let's. Oh, that's gonna roll off, dude. Are you ready? I'm gonna let go. No! Oh, God!
Oh,
Damn it! Oh, it was a shitty vase anyway.
yeah, fuck that base.
Question mark. How do we get in?
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was
it's here,
wondering
guys.
Okay. The question mark?
Extraction
Oh, there
is
it is, there it is,
here.
there it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Can bring the card in.
Yeah.
Come in. Oh, damn. Oh, it
Wait,
Alright.
there's something under this bed.
moves so
Oh.
well.
So the guitar?
Gonna have to. Alright, hang on.
Nice.
Wait!
Oh my god! Oh, we gotta go back to the beginning now, huh?
You know what? I'm not even sorry.
Do we?
Well, that's where the
Oh,
truck
you're probably
is.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get back to the truck.
Okay, let's
Alright.
go back.
There definitely
Robots,
won't be any
robots.
enemies. Save
Yeah,
your
sure.
No,
stamina.
there's no enemies.
Save
Who
the
needs a
stamina.
health? Who needs a health tap?
Oh my god! Oh my
Oh
god!
god,
Okay,
not
okay.
her.
Oh!
What if we?
Gnomes!
Oh, she's slow. Oh, there's gnomes too. Oh, Jesus.
No.
Go
I'm
for it.
not
Break.
ready.
Make a break. I don't care about this gnome.
Oh fuck, I'm dead.
Oh, come on, Mommy, I'm gonna heal you!
Oh,
I'm running.
I don't Oh my God. Go, Disc. Go.
I'm going.
You got this. I'm closing the doors.
We're okay.
Okay, we're okay, I think. There are gnomes on me, but I don't know what we can do about the gnomes. Maybe we can jump. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna jump on this crate.
I'm gonna grenade them.
There we go. Oh, oh my God.
Works in
Hey, you're
all
okay.
games.
They're all
I'm
gone.
good.
Alright,
Okay,
I got
good.
'em. They shattered.
Did it!
What the fuck? Oh, heal. Nice.
let's go!
Woohoo!
Everybody,
Easy.
is that the salad dead?
I guess
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, bye, salad.
Bye.
so.
You got trimmed.
out of 5 people that they could have gone for, it went for me.
We got a lot of money.
Oh damn! Let's go. So much money.
Holy. What's the most expensive item? Valuable tracker, 18K.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
probably
it.
that one.
Wait,
Oh,
28K
frying
for
pan.
what?
There's a
Frying
pan.
pan?
30K
Wait,
for a
there's a-
baseball bat.
There's a, yeah, 30K
Ow.
for a baseball bat.
Oh wow, a stun mine. Walk in this one.
Ooh, should we get a pocket cart?
Hey! You let me go! You don't, you don't, yeah. There you go.
What's
Should we
going
get the
on
pocket
here?
cart, guys?
Yeah!
Yeah.
Not the
Let's
30K
do it.
frying pan?
It's cute.
Alright, do
Yeah.
it. Done mine too.
Oh,
5
that was
seconds.
Okay.
Grenade.
Help.
Hmm.
So what do
Health.
energy crystals do again? Oh god.
Stamina? Probably.
Oh!
No, not me.
Yes, yes.
Why
Let
are
go
you
of
holding
me.
me down?
Somebody
Why
put
are you
something in.
holding me down?
Hit the button.
Unhand me.
Hit the button.
Why are you holding me?
Hit the button
I'm putting the
now.
button.
Unhand me, you bastard.
Goodbye, salad.
Oh,
Where to put you?
and it's okay.
I wonder if I
I
can
said
put you
stop.
underneath it when this is
That was real
flashing.
fucked up, guys.
Can
That
someone
is pretty
turn
fucked
on
up,
this
but-
button?
This is so fucked up!
Yeah, it's
Let
Lark's
me down
turn.
this
Guess what,
instant!
Francis?
This instant! I demand to be put down! Not like that! Not put down like that!
Oh wait, you need to put
Wait,
something
wait,
in.
we
Hang
need
on, you need to put
something.
something in.
Here's a small health pack. There you
Oh
go.
god.
Oh, whoops.
Oh god, okay. Oh god, I'm gonna hold on to this. Oh
Oh,
shit, I
so-
see the lights! Oh god! Ah.
Oh, got hit!
How did this die?
Wait, what happened to Dick?
How did this? Like he fully died.
What
He's
the
not
fuck?
back.
What the fuck?
Wait, hang on. What if you put him inside this?
Did he click
Yeah,
a grenade? Oh yeah.
This time.
There you go.
It's called karma.
Oh fuck.
Oh, we need to
something.
buy-
Oh.
Is there anything? I don't think. 2K. Wait. One of the upgrades. Stamina
Oh
upgrade.
yeah.
There we go.
One of the upgrades.
There we go.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my god, you can
We got
apparently
you,
you
Dis.
can flush each other, guys. You can flush each other.
Oh, in the toilet?
Yeah,
Flush
let's look
each
for
other.
a toilet.
Wait, it actually works. I'm at 1 health, but it worked. Nice.
Oh, welcome
Where
back!
do you flush?
That's
Hey, where's
crazy.
the-
Yeah,
where's the
it
toilet
has a
stuff?
toilet. It has a toilet. We can flush each other.
Le toilette.
Toilet.
There's a toilet.
Le toilet.
Levese?
Ooh, est-ce que le toilette?
Wait, can
Or some shit.
West Levese, am I right, fellas?
So true.
Oh yeah, can you guys heal me?
I don't think we can yet.
Grab my neck. Wait, do I not?
No,
Oh, yeah, I don't
there's
think you
no
have the
health.
health
There's
bar.
no-
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no neck thing.
There's no health one here.
Can't grab this
Okay.
by the neck.
Your neck?
Oh, I'm at 100 now. Nice.
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 Oh, look at these.
Oh yeah,
things.
so you can, when you grab an item, you can press 1, 2, or 3 to put it in your
Ooh.
inventory.
Oh!
Only for like the shop stuff.
Oh,
I got a grenade. There's a stun trap right here. Someone wants to take.
Oh.
Okay.
stay away from the grenades, Lobos.
I am the grenade.
Oh god.
Whoa!
Wait.
Austin.
Okay.
Okay.
Level 3.
Whoa!
Let's go, PB.
Let's go, gamers!
That was a little baby one.
indeed. I'm stuck. Oh wait, no, I'm not.
Oh yeah, they're so cute!
Which is this
Can you,
headband?
wait,
level?
it's called a pocket card. Can you put it in your pocket salad? You press the number?
Ooh.
Oh, you can.
Nice.
Whoa.
Wait, does that mean if you put stuff into it, you can still put it in your pocket?
Maybe.
In-
Put something in the tiny cart.
Apollo,
Me?
Apollo, put
Okay.
something in the little one here. It's behind you.
Okay, wait. Here we go. Wait, I'm trying not to break it!
Ben?
Okay. Oh.
Oh my god.
You
Now
know,
we know.
it was worth a try, you know?
Yeah, it's like a prison wallet.
Yeah.
Did you just say nuts?
I said
Nuts.
that's nuts.
Oh, okay.
This test tube is $2,100.
Whoa.
There be anything in the toilets?
I don't know, I was checking as well. I didn't see any. Are you guys this way?
Why can't I put this in my pocket? Guys, I
Oh,
found the snappy turtle thingy. Snappy
Oh.
frog.
Frog! Oh!
Why can't I put this in my pocket?
Oi.
It was pretty deep. Oops.
Oh my god, a big wad of cash.
Yeah, it's not worth. Oh, Larksa.
What?
Come in here.
Yeah. Oh! Oh, okay. Holy shit, alright. Can't put this in our pocket? Yeah.
Oh god.
So a
Falling
lot
over.
of cash is blocking it. Hey, get out of here, money. Alright. Wait, which way? This way?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Now? Here?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Jackpot. Oh my god,
Oh,
minus
that's okay.
2k. That's really bad. Dude, we got like the mother load.
Yo!
Yeah.
What is it worth?
It 20k, but we bonked it, so now 18k.
Oh gosh.
How about
Oh
now?
shit, it's stuck.
Careful.
Okay. Yeah. Alright.
Wait, are we going the right way?
Yeah.
Shit, -1.
All right.
Okay,
I got
someone
Can you help carry?
Yeah, Apollo, lead us.
Okay. Well, just walk backward. Wait, not this way. Where are you
Backwards?
going? No, no.
Other
To
back?
the other back, yeah.
To your
There.
left.
And then
Yeah,
back.
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, well, ooh.
Hi guys. We got big loot.
Okay.
Oh, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Big Luta.
Let's
We
combine
got
our
big
loot.
Oh my
Luta.
Christ.
Oh, like
Okay,
literally
we're
big.
super
Oh,
stuck,
no.
dude.
Plus
What
computer.
the fuck?
Okay, let go, guys.
Yeah.
Let go. Let go.
It was worth 20k, but we bonked it a few
Holy-
times.
A few.
I don't know if it's...
No.
Oh,
Can we break
okay.
this table? Can we break the table? No?
Yeah, we need to put it in the cart.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can just put, you can put it on the
Oh.
actual thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I? Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying
yeah.
to break.
All right, great.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to break the table.
We should be able to get it through here. I got it angled well.
Yeah,
Somebody
you
grab
can,
it.
You can definitely get it through. Just pivot.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I'm
We
stuck.
now work for a moving
Okay.
company. Careful!
Oh.
Oh.
Oof.
$200 down.
Okay.
All right, we're almost there.
All right, boys.
27k. That's too much, though.
That's too much.
We'll get a tax return. It's okay.
Return!
Yeah,
I
but
get
we gotta
tax
do
return.
another one.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
you gotta do
fucking
it.
Yeah,
hate
but our
taxes.
tax return can be used for the next one.
Oh.
think.
Oh, does it?
I think it gives you like an item
nice.
with the excess money, worth the excess money.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's a big
Damn.
fucking sack.
That is huge. Oh my god!
Oh,
Wait, where's the card?
Please do not beat me with your set.
there's a
It's,
baby
it's over
cart.
there.
You
it's
took
out
it.
here.
So
It's
the
out here.
next
It's out
time.
here.
Yeah, the baby cart can be for small items.
Right.
Like,
Did you find the next
Why don't you
extraction
run me
point?
over?
No.
Why not? Alright, guys, hang on. Hold.
Should just be down this way,
Yeah.
somewhere.
okay.
Bring the cart.
Oh.
Seems
I
kind of
have
like a
items.
straight path.
Okay. Is there not a door to the left?
It's
is, but,
it's
Yeah,
nothing.
it
Is it dead end?
No!
Oh my god.
What was that?
Bro, I literally put it
That
in
was really
the thing.
expensive.
No, I put it in the thing and Lobos moved.
I've been moving the whole time.
It's all Lobos.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
it's moving at
Oh,
the same
Lobos.
Alright.
speed.
Can we remind ourselves of
Oh, there's
who
some items
didn't
here.
make it last time?
That's kind of rude, actually.
Well-
I'm really upset by that.
I would only said it because it's relevant.
So fucked up, not gonna lie.
Oh my god, what?
Oh, nice. Trophy.
Oh, shit!
Oh, Pog?
Oh, guys, we got a
so
fish tank.
fucking heavy.
Oh my god,
Fish
that is
tank?
insane!
Oh wait, that's not. Wait, what is
That's
this?
not a...
Oh,
No,
That's a
that's-
fish
yeah,
tank.
our
I
extraction
think
is
it's like a
definitely
resin
this
thing
way.
or something.
That's crazy.
Here, here. I'm coming
Okay,
through.
hold it, hold it. Wait, we got
Definitely
a.
this way.
Hold on, we got a
Lobos.
big item.
Oh shit.
He doesn't
100%
care,
it's
he's gone.
this way.
He's
think you
Fucking
guys should
donut
carry it
wall.
to
What
the
the hell is
thing.
this?
Shit, I broke it.
He actually just don't know all those.
Where the oh.
I don't think it.
I'm coming.
Do you think it fits
What?
in the small cart? Oh, nice.
Okay,
Wait, is this
up,
it? Oh,
up.
this is it.
I think we gotta
Oh,
click.
right,
on
we
it.
can
gotta
click
press
this.
the button, right? Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
I
That's
can't
fucking-
blow an
Alright, wait.
ocarina.
Hold on.
Yeah, we need.
Hey.
I
Wait, hold
guess the
on.
hourglasses.
Alright, get the other thing on.
There.
Yeah.
Did we lose the card if it gets smashed? I hope not.
I don't think so.
We don't need it though.
The
Well, we
small one,
spent-
paid
Yeah,
for
we
it.
did.
18k on it.
Oh no,
Oh,
it's
it's
fine.
fine.
No, it doesn't.
Cool.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
that
I
card.
can
Oh, I
box
see what you're
it.
saying.
All
Okay,
right.
we need to go back.
Box. Let's get the
Oh,
Were there
well,
any
she's gonna
enemies?
come for us.
I don't think there are any
I don't
enemies on
think
this map.
the... Okay, last time we said that, I got scissors.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
good. What
Scissors?
the fuck is that?
Oh god. Oh god.
scare
Oh
thing.
Jesus.
Oh, there's laser beams.
What is that? What is that?
There's a guy.
Guys!
I don't know. Clam
What is
monster.
that? What is this? Oh my god.
Okay, just run to the truck. We just gotta run to the truck, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but this is wrong.
Okay, wait. We have to stand. Something pushed me. Okay. How much health do you have?
93, you?
71. Give me like a little bit. Okay. It's fine.
Alright. Hello? Oh!
I've got a stun grenade.
Okay.
Okay. Did we just bring this?
I'm stunning.
Okay.
Go, 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 go! He's knocked over. Oh god.
I'm running! I'm running! I'm running! I'm running! Oh my god!
What is that? What is that? What is that? Look down! Look away!
So dumb. Go! Oh Jesus. No. No. Oh.
Wow!
Let's go!
Let's go!
Easy clap.
Hell yeah.
Damn! Gamer!
That's my king of losers.
Hmm.
Let's
Let's
go.
go!
Big money.
That was so good.
Big monies.
Hell yeah. A feather drone.
Whoa.
Sword.
A baseball
Sword.
bat.
A rubber duck.
Rubber duck? No
There's
way!
a feather drone.
It's only
Feather
15k.
drone?
Can we get this one?
What the?
Alright.
Ah,
Right
you
then.
fucker.
When you hit me, you sent the drone flying. I don't know where it went.
Oh no.
I also had a hold of it, and now it's just gone.
We can find it back.
Wait, what are we buying? A duck?
We're never gonna find it. Wait, I found it!
Oh, let's go.
Oh, nice.
39k for
What does it do?
for what?
Wait.
The duck? There's 15k. Oh, the bat. The bat's there.
Oh.
Oh,
What does the
here,
duck
I'm
do?
gonna
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Flush me.
Why
What
did you
does
do
the
that?
feather
didn't-
drone
I was just
do?
moving it. That's it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
kind of want to get the
God.
feather drone. I'm
So,
curious.
can someone
Hang on.
flush me?
Get it.
The
What is it doing?
shockwave
It's-
grenades are really good.
Hi.
What's it doing? It's.
Wait, are you flushing each other?
What?
Oh, can someone
What does
flush
this
me?
thing do?
Maybe it points towards items?
Okay.
I guess so.
How do you flush? Oh.
Oh, it sticks to them.
We can like hold them for us?
How do I even? Oh, there we
Chris, do you
go.
want to get flushed?
Yeah. Does it actually
Okay,
flush?
Yeah, it flushes,
Oh,
yeah. Alright.
Woo!
Yippee!
Oh my.
Oh my god, that was
Oh
crazy.
no, I just realized. I fucking died with the little pocket thing.
Oh no!
Oh, I got the card. It's okay.
Mm,
Oh,
Oh, Pog.
Actual savior.
saved.
Yeah.
Pog. Done mine.
Should we get the duck?
I think
I
so.
don't know what it does, but sure.
Yeah, get the duck. No, I saw it was bouncing around. Look, check this out.
Holy
It's fun.
shit.
Go on, Alexa.
Look at it.
Ow!
Oh!
It goes for so long.
What,
Oh my
Holy
Christ.
sh!
Oh,
what is that?
Get
good
him!
for?
duck. No, catch it.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm.
yes. Okay, there we go.
Oh, oh.
No!
We're getting the
What
duck.
the fuck?
What the fuck's happening to you?
I'm fighting back.
Ah!
I'm fighting back.
What the fuck?
Okay, nice. Good purchases.
Good
Yeah.
purchase.
All right.
Yep.
Let's get out of here.
Minus 39k.
What happened to the fries?
Why do I have 1 HP?
Oh,
I also
same.
have 1 HP.
it'll be back.
It should be. Sometimes it doesn't.
I still have
Oh,
1 HP.
I have 1 HP.
It
Share
should,
your
it
health
should
with other
revert
players.
later.
Oh, I see. Somebody grab my neck.
Rotate grabbed
I don't have
object
any
you.
HP to give you.
using
but,
mouse right. Oh.
30's better than 1.
You
I used it.
son of
At
a...
51.
Oh.
I look at
Wait,
this
isn't
with all
it?
that HP.
I got your card at
Damn.
least. You can have it back
I'm
if
gonna
you
get the
want.
feather drone.
Oh,
I'll
come
take
I'm
my
carrying
on.
stuff.
Ow.
Oh, you know what? The feather drone makes heavy things light, I bet.
Oh.
Oh.
Damn.
You attach
Oh,
it?
yeah, that's smart.
That's so smart.
That makes too much sense.
Yeah.
Damn, level
wait.
4.
Hold on.
Wait, I'm still at 1 HP. What the fuck?
Hold
It's
on,
apparently
wait.
because you died.
Larksa, come here.
Yeah. What is that?
Wait, hit Q.
Oh, we have 3 extraction points now, guys.
Oh, fuck. Oh no, not another one of these.
Well, another day, another hourglass.
Larksa, you got something on your back?
Nice.
It takes up the entire
What?
thing.
I still need my back?
It's on your back.
What the hell?
Oh, 10k. I need help carrying this. Okay.
Oh my god, there's a Zweihander!
What?
Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Wait, Lark, do we need that lightweight
It's
thing?
for 10k.
Yeah.
You can probably just put it on the thing over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, we can just bring it over to this. Oh, we can finish this one off
Nice.
right now.
Yeah, we have enough.
Getting the tax return is nice though, because
It
then
also is, yeah.
yeah, you just
Yeah,
get the
true.
money for next time.
This guy, give me some health. I'm 1 HP.
Ah, try! Scary eye, scary eye, scary eye! Scary eye!
Oh.
Run!
Well, good thing I gave Lark some of my health.
Oh! Found the next extraction point. I found the next extraction point!
I think buying heals is probably
Hello?
what we
That's
want to
maybe
do.
it's a good idea, yeah.
What?
What the fuck? Hey, was this rubber ducky? Wait, uh-oh. Oh no. What the hell? Okay, it's probably fine.
Is he gone?
Hey guys, I found the extract point. It's back.
head
It's
gone?
through this
Oh
way.
dear god. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
the
but
head's gone. I
Good
don't
job, good job.
Okay.
I found a polo set, not this set.
What
Oh,
is
they
this?
might be able to res me. They they got my
Showed
head.
up as
I
red.
think they got my
don't
head
like
too.
it.
Larksa had it earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's this head.
Wait, did they have their head?
That's
Did you find
okay.
his head?
I love
Found
what's
his
got it.
head.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
I got a tax return too.
Tax. Oh, nice. What is something slurping? Wait, hold on. The battery on this is almost dead.
I don't know what that is! You put it on my back!
Yeah, well. Okay, I found the extraction point, by the way. It's through
Oh
here.
yeah, let's go.
It's on the other side of this. Oh my god.
Oh god, what
Skeleton
is
gnome.
that?
Oh!
Careful.
I have 1 health.
Oh fuck shit. I can heal you to 10.
Oh.
Come here.
Do it.
I'm gonna be
Okay.
fair with you guys. I just broke a vase, but
Alright.
I survived because of it. So.
Yeah, but
That's
you
fair,
broke a
that's fair.
vase.
Yeah, bro, I literally had to jump to
Move.
survive. Okay.
Oh
Randy?
shit. Head bro.
Head bro.
Oh no.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna flat. I'm gonna.
Oh no.
I got a
do
flash.
this. Oh shit. Oh shit.
I'm
Oh
right
shit.
here! Why? Oh.
Larksa.
Alexa die?
She dead. Yeah. She dropped the cart. Is he gone?
They don't
Oh.
blow up or do you just run away?
All the loot's still okay. I'm taking it over there.
That guy's scary.
Oh, we need
He's
3
so
extraction points here.
Yeah.
Get her head. We can res. Is Apollo dead? Where did she die?
I think we have all of the heads inside the thing.
Oh, do we?
These fucking vases are dog shit. You know?
Demented.
He breaks every single vase.
It's
Okay.
really like
Boss.
the slightest
I did find a question over here, so let's see if we can't just get everybody back. Hold on. Whose heads do we have? No, we don't have Larx's head in here.
Oh wait,
Wait, it's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, it has to be in here somewhere.
Oh, Slender Man!
Wait, you saw Slenderman?
Yeah, it was Slender Man. I saw him.
Where the heck did your head go? Is it in the...
Yeah, where
Oh,
did
I think it's in the
Is it in the
pot,
stool?
though. Yeah, I think it's in the soup.
See it?
They're never gonna
It's
find it.
up on top of it. She was up here when she got eaten. Maybe the head just completely eats somebody and they can't res. Maybe.
Well, I'll look in the pot
I mean,
if
that'd be
they
no
res
fun. It
this.
could have blown into another
Yeah.
room, but
Yeah. Might be in
I'm
the phone.
sorry, Lark. Anyways, I'm turning it in.
Oh yeah, maybe you can see the heads on the map.
Oh, we need 3k more.
Row.
Oh,
I
no.
would have had to if Demented didn't
Oh.
break those 2 vases.
Nice.
Yeah, true.
How much is that?
Oh, there's a pile of cash there. Didn't see it.
2,600. This might be enough.
Yes.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Let's go, boys!
Right.
Yippee!
Quick math.
Bye, Larksa.
Bye.
Goodbye.
We'll try to
Bye.
find your head.
Bonk.
Okay.
Maybe Larksa knows where the head goes. Maybe these two now know.
It might be in the pot.
In the soup.
Oh! Was she
There's money here that you guys run
She
off.
was, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I don't think I can get it if it's in the soup.
I don't see.
Hmm.
Aw. Maybe it melted.
Yeah, I don't think you can get it.
Hmm. Where did it go? That's so weird.
Oh, where's the mini top?
Okay.
Maybe it like took her head somewhere else.
Poor leper.
Oh god.
There was a scary noise.
Yeah, that was a really scary noise. Don't think so.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. He's good.
I'm in here.
Nice.
There's I got some loot. Where's our cart?
I'll go get
To the
it.
right?
Alright, I'm gonna put some loot in the center here.
Okay.
It's over here, right?
Can't get enough of this potion. Moot vibes.
How much?
What else do we got? Lobos?
Right. B.
Lobos?
Yo.
Do you have the feather drone?
Yes, I
Can
do.
you try it on this?
I'm bringing it. It's low battery, but let's see here. Bonk.
Guess who has
That's
the
wait.
right
It put it on me.
level?
Hold on.
Oh, Giga!
Wait. How did?
Wait.
No, it attaches to a person.
Wait, what if you grab it?
Maybe it makes me.
No.
No.
What?
That's
That's
weird.
so weird.
What is it for then?
Oh,
there
I
you
got
go.
it to work. Oh,
Yes!
look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good
Oh, you know what?
at it.
I had to rotate it. I think it was just
Where's-
facing me.
Ah.
Oh, the crown here.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Easy.
damn. Crown?
It's only worth 600. Some crown.
Yeah.
All right. Well, did we
Not
find
even
the
real
extraction?
gold.
Is it
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's over
it's
here.
down here.
Oh, wait. It's
Oh.
downstairs.
Stairs.
Where is it?
in here?
This way.
Not here.
Yeah,
Here.
that
Yeah,
way.
it's down here.
Okay.
Careful.
Oh,
Hopefully it
lock,
doesn't
so-
like... Oh!
Yeah. that's fine.
I thought all the gear was gonna break. Oh, nice.
Yo, let's
Let's
go.
go.
Huge.
Oh yeah.
Time for a
And
victory
wait.
lap.
Ka-ching.
Yeah, we should
yeah,
go
we
and
gotta
get
get
going.
back.
With
Okay,
no
it's
monsters.
really scary when we go back. Yeah.
Oh wait, what about our
Monsters.
bonus?
I think that gets added in.
Okay.
Like,
I
just
have
to our
the mini
total.
cart on me.
Oh, that
Hold
one.
on.
Oh, hey, oh, no.
Oh shit. It shows the way to the extraction on the map.
Oh, yes. Okay. Did it.
See that?
I see it. I see it. Oh my god.
It's on me. Oh no. Apollo, you gotta leave.
Uh-oh.
Apollo! Leave!
Oh, Salad's
Oh.
there. It's okay.
Salad's there?
She
What
dead too?
Nah,
she's
nah, she's
okay.
fine.
No, she's there.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hold on.
Hi. We should leave.
Yeah, I
It's
think.
just.
Okay,
How
yeah,
do we
should
leave?
Go.
Let's just go. Just close it.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh, oh god, that's
Oh,
bad,
Jesus!
that's bad.
Oh,
Let's go!
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Bro, I survived like 4 of those things. What the fuck?
To have 1 HP again. Oh, right, it's normally here.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, there's a cart. Oh, you can get extra cart.
Oh, yo!
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That is
Pretty
huge.
good.
That's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
That
We
does
have
seem
money.
pretty
Oh, you
good.
get. Oh, you get 2 extra carts. Jesus.
Dude, we are loaded.
Oh, there's a trank
Yeah.
gun.
44,000
Ooh.
sledgehammer. Mm.
Damn.
I think we should get some
Chocolate
health
grenades.
packs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should make it
yeah.
help. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
so expensive.
Oh,
I
large
wanna buy
boy.
a trank gun.
Here, a
Yeah, to
large
use
boy
it.
14k and can we get
Stay
the
the
cart
fuck
with
away
that?
from me with that
Holy
thing.
shit, this is so hot.
What is that? Trank gun.
Trank gun.
Goodbye.
Oh!
Am I all drugged?
I'd say so, yeah. Oh, Max, the
Oh my god.
This, look at this.
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh,
Get him!
that's so cool.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
oh let me take.
Oh,
Yeah, I just want to buy the trank gun.
are you serious right now? You serious?
Oh, it's a comfy sledgehammer.
Yeah, comfy, yeah.
Now what are we gonna do with it? That's the question.
Holy. This seems like a fun, like, Russian roulette style. Just swing it around, whoever dies.
Yeah. I think it might be you.
Alright.
Flush him! No!
Hey! Come on!
We gotta
Send him
flush
out
him!
to the space. Oh, flush him.
We gotta
Ow.
flush him!
Oh, this one
Someone
as
open the
well.
toilet! Someone
Okay.
open the toilet!
I don't want to be flushed.
I open up
Oh,
the. I'm
God.
also why am I?
Yeah, flush Loxa, yeah!
Hey!
Yeah!
What the fuck?
You can just infinitely flush
I
him.
just fucked up, man. Unflush me this instant, right now. Let go of me right now. I'm a valuable member of this community.
Alright, Apollo.
Oh. How far? Oh, it didn't shoot very far.
What the hell? What's that? Ow!
Oh my god!
Oh, it's dead. The gun's gone. Oh.
Oh.
Let me down!
Alright, let's get out of here.
Okay, yeah,
I want to trank some things.
Sending the
monsters,
email.
not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, monsters, of course.
Trank headband.
Yeah. Nice. Where's the... Oh, maybe I didn't buy the trank gun. Wait, where is it?
No, it's expensive.
Oh
We
man.
got the cart and.
And the duck.
I want
Oh, we got the duck.
Wait, what does the duck do?
The duck bounces. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the.
Ooh,
What's got
it's
bad?
very handy.
Thank you.
Very useful. Good
Oh,
job.
alright, I should heal.
Alright, I think we're all good.
Healers.
Yeah.
I have
Bro,
26
I
health.
just have 1 health.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Wait, do you have 1 health?
Yeah.
Okay, let's all give out to 10 HP each, right?
I only have like 50.
Alright,
I
somebody
only have
juice me up.
Yeah, I have 26.
Nice, I get
Don't
10.
dole it out.
Okay, I give you 10.
Ooh,
Thank you.
double.
Alright, I have 20 health.
Double.
See how
Okay.
nice we are.
What's this?
What's this?
Ooh.
Oh, look at this.
Trophy.
A fish tank right away. Wait, is it a fish tank?
Ooh.
Stick.
11K. Let's
Oh
go.
my
Oh yeah,
God.
attach it. Attach it. Yeah.
Not my fault.
Guys, I
Literally
found the
was.
chainsaw!
Oh my god.
That's
Wait,
sick.
rotate it.
Yo, look.
Try rotating it.
Watch
so it
out for
faces-
Larksa.
Yeah, don't go near Lark, so.
There you go. Oh, what the? Wait, how did you do it before?
I don't
Oh, we
know.
need to- Come here, look.
Here, let me see.
Okay, coming.
Oh my
I had it like touching the object.
Jesus.
But I had it like right
Oh,
on top.
Face
whoa.
the feather toward.
There's an
you.
Yeah,
arrow.
resistant. Oh, nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't think this thing's going in.
Okay, here
Oh,
we go.
that's
Put it on the
where my
opposite
mob
side
went.
of me.
Stop it, just bring it. That's
Yeah,
your
there we
I
go.
did it. I did it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess you just put
Sorry,
it
that's
between
rude.
you and the
Okay,
thing.
then don't trip it.
Is that 2 fish tanks?
Oh wait, fuck.
No, this is a person.
Whoa!
Yeah,
whoa,
that's my
oh my
mom.
god!
Oh.
That's a
It's
human.
breaking!
It's gonna fall!
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
Oh! Oh!
Wait, is
It should be
in
fine.
there?
Oh wait,
Get
no.
it in there. Oh, get it in there! Wait,
Okay, hurry,
or not?
get it!
I don't.
Get it in!
Okay, we're good.
Okay,
Okay,
Oh.
good.
nice.
Nice. GG.
We're good. Jesus.
Easy tax return. What's this?
Bonk.
What the
What?
fuck?
What?
What?
Wait.
What?
Did it not like that?
It destroyed
not-
one of them.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
the fish tank's gone.
Wait, did we not have enough money?
No,
No, we
had
did.
more
We
than
had,
enough.
we had more than enough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird.
Maybe it
We just
wasn't
got
on
scammed.
all the way. It wasn't in all the
Okay.
way. Classic.
Oh, Marky, you can go in here.
Oh, it's feather smashes things that don't fit. Yeah.
How is that our fault? I got a diamond.
Yeah.
Go.
Nice.
Whoa. Alright. There you go. Wait,
Nice.
they don't fit. So is this thing gonna fit?
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
gonna
thought it was
smash and
monster.
break everything again. Because it doesn't fit. But we can try.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, so we just gotta Tetris it more.
Yeah. Ah!
Monster, or is she scared of the fan? It's only worth 600. I can't. Okay. Oh, monkey!
Outdoors. A microscope?
Monkey.
Oh god. Oh god, guys! Guys! Guys, I need help! Guys, I need help! I'm being taken! Guys! Hello? Oh no. He's gonna fucking eat me. Guys? Where am I? Okay, this is fine actually. He's helpful. He's just taking me. Wait, did he steal my item? Oops. Hello? I'm okay actually. I got taken by a shadow man and he grabbed me and took me all the way over here. But he left me. I thought he was gonna kill me.
Nice of him. I thought he was as well. I thought I was walking around on my own. We're so
we
far
found
away
one.
from him. Oh, that's good. Oh, you can start bringing some of our stuff.
Yeah, we can just bring. We don't need the cart.
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
I do have the little one on there.
Oh, the little cart. Nice.
Yeah.
Wonder if there's fall damage in this.
Maybe. I can't imagine there's places you can fall from that high though.
Yeah.
Some parkour.
Yeah, something up here. Maybe it's the hiding spot.
Maybe. Oh dear. Scary.
Oh, hey guys.
To go this way.
I'm okay.
Or to go this way.
Oh,
Have you
you're
guys
alive.
found heads? Oh, you're alive!
Hi, guys.
Where's the Mentos?
Yeah.
Have you seen
He's
him?
okay. He's over here.
He's okay. Okay.
Nice.
The
Everyone left.
Mentos!
Is Lobos dead? Do you have his head?
No,
No,
he's
he's alive.
behind us.
Okay.
Behind us.
But he gets
We
distracted every
found
5
an
seconds.
extraction point
Yeah.
over here somewhere.
Where'd you go?
It's not up here. No.
Oh.
I'm just looking. Holy shit, guys.
What?
Oh. So there was a guy who stole my feather drone. There's a huge loot up here.
There's a what?
Huge loot. Big loota.
Big Luta!
Up here, but it's like multi.
Stole?
Luta!
Just come look at this thing. It's the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my god, I want to see it. How big is it?
Whoa! This is the Luta? Holy!
I don't even know how we.
Wait, how are we gonna get this through?
That is
Okay,
fucking
hold on. We gotta
massive.
rotate it.
Okay.
There
Wait,
we go.
I got it.
Okay.
Alright. Lobos, we might need help.
Alright.
Rotating.
Alright.
So
Yes,
far,
this.
so good. Oi, it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. Rotating.
Oh. A little bit of
Oh
damage.
shit. It's okay. Okay, I
Hey,
think I have to go
careful.
backwards. Yeah.
There we
Okay, I
go.
got it.
Okay.
Where do
where
we
to
go?
now? Well, it says
think
we have to
it's-
go this way according to the
Yeah, the
map.
arrow is
Yeah.
pointing us, yeah.
I was following the trail on the map. That's correct.
Yeah, it's just this is like such an awkward room to
This
go
is the
through.
wrong way. Isn't
The
it?
wrong way. Okay, wait. Maybe I should scout ahead.
No, this is the right way.
Lobos,
Hello?
we need help.
Help!
We have something really
Oh.
big.
Oh, Jesus fucking.
Oh,
Alright,
the
hang on.
Mentos!
Lobos is dead. Hang on, fellas,
What?
hold on
What
a
you mean
second.
he's
What
dead?
happened?
I think he got killed by the wait, fucking
Alright, we got it.
stupid thing. Oh my god.
It's this way, right?
Hang
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
hang
this
on.
way.
Back off a
this
sec.
way.
Let me put this thing
Oh.
on it.
Oh, you have it.
Oh, you have
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how it works.
Press
exactly,
E.
though.
rotate. Okay.
There you go.
It's losing a lot of value, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. The
Oh,
rubber
careful,
ducky's
Larksa,
hanging
there's a
around.
hole. Oh, there she goes.
Oh my god. Wait. Oh!
Oh my god.
Head came back up.
I'm losing all the value, guys. I don't even. Is this even the right way?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Rotate it.
Wait, this thing has to go vertical, right? It's too big
Yeah.
otherwise.
We gotta go in and then push it.
Okay. Alright.
No.
No. Wait.
Okay, I'll let you do it, because I think we're trolling each other.
Okay. I actually wasn't even doing anything. Okay, bro.
Okay,
this is-
alright, move
this
it.
thing. Okay.
There we go, let
There
go.
we go. Right, let me put Apollo's head on there, and then we can. Because there's one more thing nearby.
We need money. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one thing nearby. Ooh. Host fell into the hole, man. There's something on that couch. Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Is that a? Oh, it's not enough.
It's enough.
Oh wait. Okay, there's stuff in there. Is that rubber duck in? Oh, it's a rubber duck.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Sal, just deliver it. I'll be okay. Just go. Oh god. Oh god. I think I need to go there. Hello? Hey guys.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh.
He's here!
Wait, everyone's here.
Oh, hello.
Let's go!
What happened?
Yeah, we saw you being like eaten by
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
it's the shadow monster. He'll take you
Like, bouncing
somewhere.
around.
Take you
Yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah,
Are you okay?
So scary!
he won't hurt
And then
you.
what?
He just takes you.
Okay.
What? Wait. Do we still have the lightweight thing?
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
why.
Did it get smashed?
I don't know. Let me go check.
Oh, is this Luta?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
The
Oh my
Luta.
god, Giga-loot.
Well, wait, we can put it on the cart. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust.
Lift.
Oh,
All right,
Lift
Larksa,
straight
lift.
up.
Lift up.
Straight up.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
Wait,
All right,
what's
I'm gonna
this in the
rotate.
card?
Nice. This is good.
Wait, push it towards you,
hold
Lobos,
on.
a little bit.
Towards
Okay.
me. Okay.
What is
All right, towards me.
Nice. Maybe
Alright.
let go here. Oh.
Alright, boys!
Oh my god.
Easy clap.
No, that's,
There's something
that's a little
underneath.
precarious.
There's the
I
duck.
can't
okay,
see
I'll
while
baby
I'm
it.
pushing it.
I'll baby it.
Wait, hang on, let me fucking
Yeah, I
move this
can't-
out of the way.
Just need to make sure I'm
What?
going the
Do
right
we
way.
even know where we're going?
No, we
next?
don't know where the.
No.
Oh,
There's no
actually,
way
I
it's
think
gonna-
Dude, that's not gonna fit through the door, just FYI.
It might not fit. Wait, no. Try it. Here. I'm gonna
I don't
pull
think
it.
it's gonna fit.
Maybe if we
Okay.
really believe.
Oh
If
no
we
no no no
truly-
no no! I don't believe.
Back up,
Wait,
back up.
can we put it on its side? No.
It's gonna be too wide then, right?
Okay, right.
Well, actually, no, we could. We
This
could. Wait, we can.
like
We
the,
can.
like the
I
other
got it.
side.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
one.
like
yeah,
this.
yeah. I'm pulling it.
Holy shit.
Is it good? Okay, I let go. Oh.
Okay.
No.
Okay, push-
Oh.
Wait. Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah, there
a
we
bit.
go. That's
Okay,
good. It's
there we
perfect.
go.
Nice.
Perfect.
Oh.
That was the most
That's
male
beautiful.
group task ever.
Wait.
Oh no!
Oh
no!
I saved it.
Oh, fuck!
It's taken
Guys,
no
where's
damage.
Apollo, by the way?
I don't know.
Oh god.
come
It took-
on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's so...
Okay, guys, we gotta find the extract. I think it's this way, but there was some scary shit over here.
I'm just gonna drag this thing slowly but surely. Wait, which
Have I been this way? Is this where I was? Guys, I got it! Gotta find the team. Oh, I can't believe I can't believe I ruined that chat. We had it perfect.
Don't let go of it. Okay.
Stop letting go.
Okay, I found the way, guys.
Okay, I'll put it on this thing.
I'm scared.
Guys.
Oh, let's
Okay.
go fast.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have the thing.
Is it
Yeah, it
this
was,
way?
in,
No,
it
no,
was
no.
in the cart.
No, it's below. It's below. We gotta go down.
Okay,
Oh,
back
We got,
back up.
fuck's sake.
Where? This way?
This way. Follow me.
Okay.
Alright.
Which one
Lead
is
with-
our
To your
cart?
left.
Okay.
Uh,
My
straight,
left?
straight left. Through the door.
Please.
You're in the corner. All right. Take
it
a left.
falling?
Left again.
Can do it, drone.
Running
Can
into
do
it.
Okay,
it.
hold on, hold on. Why is there beep 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 beep?
It's the drone.
The
and I had a
drone.
battery.
Oh.
All right. Oh, through
Did
this
it-
doorway.
this way?
Keep going back. Yeah, keep going back.
Okay.
All right. Now take a right.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay. Forward, 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 Larksta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good, good.
Okay. Keep going back. Straight back.
Okay.
Did you fucking break something again?
Shut up! Oh! what was that? What was that? Yeah.
That's not me! That's a drone!
All right. To your
No,
left.
No, that's cart.
Okay. This way, this way.
Um,
Run out of battery and fall, by the way.
Oh,
No, you-
it's
you guys
okay,
should be
I'm
okay.
holding it.
all right. Just straight
I'm
back
holding
now.
it up to my manly strength.
What happened to Apollo?
She's eating shrimp cheese on toast.
I
Nah, it's bust.
I don't like shrimp.
Right here.
Oh, wait, what?
Towards me.
Where? Right, okay. Oh, it's dying.
Okay, we got it.
Oh, I see. Nice,
Alright,
nice.
make sure it's fitting.
Eh,
There you go.
Dude.
Definitely gonna fit.
okay, 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 okay.
Okay.
Oh, almost got
Jeez.
smashed.
Yeah.
Oh, right, the truck.
Whoa!
Oh, right,
Nice.
the truck.
Wait, but which
Oh, I'm
one's
taking
our
the,
cart?
taking the ducky, dude.
Yeah, the ducky comes with us.
Come here.
We bought one of these. I don't know if we have to bring it back with us.
I don't know. Hope not.
All right.
I hope not. I don't know which one was
I'll,
ours.
I'll clear the way with the ducky.
We're right next to the exit. We actually missed
Oh
this
my
one.
god, dude!
Do I bring the cart with me?
Oh no.
There is.
Bro. Are you
We're right
fucking
there.
joking? Are you
Oh,
fucking...
Apollo's.
Oh, it's Apollo and Lark, so here we go.
She's been grabbed by the Shadow Man or whatever.
Is this a sort of prank?
They're gonna fall down a fucking pit.
Oh no,
Bro, he
Lark's is
sucked
so
me
dead.
in.
Oh, Larksta. I mean,
Wait,
the
she might be
stealth is
okay.
pretty good in this, though. Oh my god. Oh,
Oh, I don't think she's
not
okay. She was okay!
okay.
Oh, a fish! A fish! I saw a fish! I saw a fish!
Oh, they're right next to the
Fish.
exit.
I'm trying, Lexa! I don't have any!
Oh my god, go.
Run, truck! I don't know where it is!
It's here. Push. Oh my
Oh
god.
shit.
Oh, they found it.
She got healed.
Ah, okay. Hey, come here. Do you know how to start the
That was
truck?
bullshit.
Yeah,
I started.
I don't know.
They don't know.
Oh,
how to-
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
here we press this, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Oh crap.
HD.
We made it.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go.
60k.
GG!
Yeah.
GG.
Easy!
Omega GG.
Bro, my
I got
fucking
kidnapped and I
house.
couldn't find my way back to you guys. He brought me back to the start. I just made it there.
There's a
Oh, gun,
roll
bro.
drone.
A what?
Roll.
Roll
drone.
drone.
Here,
Yeah.
we can test it right now, right? Yeah.
I rolled
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
There you go.
Roll jump.
I'm going.
Me!
Oh,
That
you're
sound-
zooming.
No.
Where are you? What? Oh.
All right, how many of you guys are at low health? Because I think I'm at
Me.
1.
Me!
I think we just buy like all health packs.
Yeah,
for the
honestly.
sky.
Oh,
Yeah.
All of them.
The gun.
Reach for the sky.
Buy the gun.
All right, all the health packs.
Oh my god.
Don't.
We'll do it.
Yeah, this is great.
What?
He's got a gun. Holy
God.
shit! Wow, and then her head fucking hit you. Oh.
No, Larsa! We can bring her back like this, right?
Yeah, she'll only have 1 health, but... Wait, no! It's not funny anymore, stop!
It's a cover shooter now. Come, wait, what? What? This thing aims like shit. Don't do that. All right, I'm done. Did we buy? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got us some stam upgrades.
Alright, let's go.
We want.
Wait, are we not gonna save her?
Oh, okay.
You wanted to?
No. Do it.
Oh, fancy seeing you here,
back.
Larsa.
I'm stealing this.
Okay.
Oh
Whoa.
shit.
They'll never
Thief
know.
it
They'll never
For
know.
free.
Hurry. Yep.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All the guns in there too.
All good.
Hopefully we get to keep.
Ah.
Oh man.
I'm
Okay,
healing.
help. Healing.
Guys, how do I heal?
E?
Oh, depleted. E.
Wait, it looks like this is a little one.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay, I got 51.
I got it. I
There's
have
2
all
stam
the...
upgrades if you guys want
Same.
any.
There's some.
Oh,
good.
really?
Thing's dead.
I'll take it the duck.
I'm still on the stamina
yeah.
upgrade. Going.
Yeah.
I will take a stun mine.
Stun mine.
Oh, by the way, so this feather
Oh,
drone,
shit, no,
guys,
no.
it's out of battery, right? But if you put
Yeah.
it in here,
Oh.
it charges.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that's what the crystals are
now
for.
it's-
Crazy.
Out of battery.
Oh.
Oh, I understand. That's what the crystals are for. Oh, our other
okay,
cart
okay.
disappeared. Thing.
Ooh, look outside.
Oh.
Oh, wait.
Wait, where?
What
Oh.
Oh.
We're actually driving.
Oh
Fields.
shit.
Insane.
Looks like Belgium.
There's no potatoes.
Someone clip me
It's
out of
not
bounds.
bad.
I want to get out there.
True.
Oh,
These fucking speedrunners ruining my
everybody,
game.
everybody jump in this corner. Bam, jump. We'll clip
Okay.
out of bounds.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
let's
so-
clip.
I want to clip.
I'm gonna
Working.
clip.
I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah, I don't
Put
think
someone
I can
out.
do
Push them out. Fine. All right.
that.
Oh, I just healed.
Damn, the devs
Somebody
were too good.
shook my neck.
Unlucky.
Oh, I lost 10 health. Wait, I
You
think I
shook my
healed
neck
you.
and healed me. Yeah.
you,
Okay.
you gripped the logos.
Yeah.
Holy.
Level 6.
Let's
Yo.
go.
Oh no, it's
What?
still here. Hell yeah.
Now we're
no.
gaming. Oh.
Nice.
Nice.
Ah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh no, not the house
Alright.
again.
Oh, this scary
Oh, shoot.
house. Alright.
Oh, you can pull the cart while in it. Look at this.
You can, you wait, you
Driving
can lift the cart
Yourself?
up.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm driving a car, baby.
Oh, let's go.
I have trophy.
All right.
This is gonna go terribly, I can tell. I'm getting fucking
Ooh,
fucked.
gravestones.
Wait. Oh. There's blood on the ground.
There's a hole here in this building. Don't walk in.
Oh.
There's like a look scary hole.
Stay away from the hole. Stay away from the hole.
Oh, another
Oh, no.
hole. Not much loot.
Thank you for this up.
Guys, there's another hole.
Oh, this looks like loot. Oh, no.
Luta?
There's so many holes here. Okay.
Oh. Found an extraction point. There's like no loot, dude. Oh god. Oh, it's the sauna.
I'm hoping.
Oh,
Hey guys.
Hi!
hello.
You wanna
Wait,
watch
is that
the
a
TV?
cat?
Oh, TV.
Oh!
Oh, cute.
Fuck!
Where
Let's
do we go?
Cartoon. Oh, I don't know.
Alright. Oh, this way, this way, this way. This way. This way.
Oh yeah, there's an extraction point back here.
Yeah.
I found
Yeah, we
it.
saw.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, extraction point is in there, in here.
Where's everyone else?
Yeah, where's everyone?
He's been stalking me as well. It's also crazy.
This?
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you alive?
Where's the...
Yeah, the point is here.
Oh, is this
So-
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Minus
Oh, it's a-
1300.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait a minute.
Where's the...
Oh! Why is there an alien chasing you, Dick?
Wait, what?
Get it.
Oh, this is
Whoa,
a...
yeah, there is an alien. Oh shit.
I don't see it.
It's right over there. Oh!
It's like floating. Oh, okay. There's a gunman too.
Oh god.
Just crouch, crouch. Yeah. Oh. Alien.
There's three of them.
Alien there.
The frog's nearby too.
God damn it, dude.
Dude,
I got a shockwave grenade, you know what? Alright.
Look at how cool this room is. You can imagine you parkour around this room.
Where do we need to take the loot, guys?
This way, where they came
Yeah,
from.
to take it to the
You
front
guys good?
room.
Do we have enough?
There's a fucking
haven't you
alien,
moved?
dude.
There's a big alien.
Yeah, there's an alien, yeah.
See, guys. The disc classic.
Hmm?
Oh,
Hey,
there he is.
Did they probe you this?
No, I didn't even see them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn, was that
here!
fast?
Destiny's here!
Yeah. I got loot to get.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Okay. Oh my god, dude. Stop fucking hitting it. Oh my. Dude, what am I hitting?
Oh wait, that's where we were before.
Oh my god, what is hitting?
What is that?
Well, it was worth
This fucking
18k.
dinosaur!
Oh my god, dinosaur!
That's sick!
Oh my god. Let's go, boys.
Did it go from 18k to 6?
Yep, it now went to 3k.
Oh my god. That's okay, it's worth.
It was so tall, the bottom kept hitting the floor.
Hey, careful, the alien is a patrol.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, cash.
You can use the scroll wheel to move items like closer or further away from you, by the way. Oh, damn it, dude. I should have been able to have this.
And bought candy.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe extraction point.
Yeah, no.
Damn.
I mean, there's
I've
some,
opened, like,
there's 3 items over here. It's not worth much, but there's a vase.
Everything counts.
3 safes
Yeah.
that were empty.
Oh.
I think there's a green potion on
Yeah, I
that.
think the green.
Oh my.
What'd you do?
I threw the ring into myself by accident.
Oh, there's a safe back here. Here, somebody.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's the cock ring.
God. I didn't do it.
What happened?
Nothing. I didn't do it. There's a safe under the stairs.
Dude, we're not even gonna have enough money to...
What was that?
I don't know.
It's an
I heard
explosion.
something weird.
Better not have been Apollo. Oh, I think it's the grandpa, the shooting guy.
There was like a big giant guy in a black robe. Like, it was like
Oh.
the size of like this doorway.
Oh my god. Yeah, the man that was Dedka, right?
Okay, well, if you can find his head and bring it back, I'm gonna try to get enough money.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
shit,
Zed is
gun
already.
guys. Oh.
There's a loot.
Okay. What the fuck is that? Oh god.
There's
Yeah.
a man with a gun coming this way as well.
Oh, okay. Wait, I stunned
I'm
him.
deploying the dump.
Oh, what is?
Do you have
Oh,
money?
shit. I'll be back.
Get a heal.
What is going on? What was the thing jumping?
We need loot. Oh god. Steam. Where is the loot? Okay, there's something. I'm gonna save the team chat. Got this. Need something worth a lot.
Stranger, thank you.
No.
Oh, no!
Wow.
No! Oh man.
It's okay.
Holy
We were really far from winning that one.
Yeah, like 4 extraction points.
That was crazy.
Bro, that
Are you
last one
back
was
at?
fucked.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh.
Oh, nice! You
shit.
get to
We have been here so long!
fight.
It's true.
Oh!
No, it's mine.
Don't stand a chance.
Wait.
You can't take it from me! Wait, what the? What the hell?
How does this thing work?
Ah!
Yes!
What the fuck?
No!
What is this? Oh, sheesh.
I don't know how
Why is
this
there
thing
a
works.
No!
No.
Fall damage,
Yeah,
classic.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Come. Oh, I don't want to stand in front of it.
What just
Ah!
hit me? Quick answer.
Oi!
Oh.
What's the wand? No,
Yeah.
don't.
Come here.
Don't to double team. No.
Rest in peace. Whoa!
Let's
King
go!
the losers! I'm
She's
Finally, a
proud of you.
title that fits me. Wait a second.
I wonder how many extractions, like, if there's an end, or if it just, the map just keeps
Yeah.
getting bigger. Like, surely there's
Yeah,
an end.
same.
There's gotta be
Probably.
an end.
There's gotta be, right?
Oh,
Hmm.
surely.
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 You guys want to go again?
Oh.
Yes.
Or what are
I
we? What are we
kinda
thinking?
feel
I know Lobos has like an hour
I'm
left,
down.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's getting late for Fallen Demanded, so I don't know. But
I mean, we can play until you
can
guys
play
wanna go.
more.
I can
Yeah.
play one more.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
play one more.
Yeah, same. Hmm?
Speed run.
let's do it.
Speed on, let's go!
Let's
Yeah,
go!
speedrunning.
Let's go!
Surely that's gonna go well.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah! Okay, we're back to
Speedrunning in
level 1.
balls.
Swift bro.
Should be so
Easy.
easy now, though.
Going.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's go.
Alright.
This goblet.
Right, teddy bear.
Demanded, why is your bot in my chat?
Chat.
Because
Why is bot salad in my chat? I got a. It says poo.
What was that? Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm gonna puke on everybody again. Oh no, I don't like you. I give up.
Oh shit. What? What happened? What is happening? Oh god.
Ooh,
Hourglass?
almost. What the? Wait, there's fucking.
Oh my god, there's something here. Watch out.
It's just a puke thing. It's fine.
Just a
cute
pew.
thing.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, where is it?
Here, come here this way.
Careful.
Oh no.
Ah, is that a stack of money?
Right, it's gone, it's gone.
Fine.
Oh, I broke the dollars.
That's so weird. This?
All right.
You're muted.
How much?
This, you're muted.
I am. Thank you. Whoops.
Oh, gaming!
We have enough.
Classic. Whoa.
Careful for the base.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Easy clap.
Easy. Damn.
Sending
Let's
it.
go, gamers.
Right.
Go. We leave in 3.
Oh, right. That's it.
2,
Oh, God. Wait. No. I'm so.
Going.
What the fuck?
We left 2 men behind.
Oh, not again. Hi, guys.
What the fuck? Stay away! No, that's not funny! What
Wait,
the
where's
hell?
salad? Oh, there he is.
Get off the cart, get off the cart, get off the cart!
Oh
What the
my
fuck?
No, we're good.
Kick him
We're
out.
good.
Oh
Oh
my
my god,
No,
it's so
wait, is it
fucking
fine?
cursed. Ah!
Wait, does it hurt you guys? Oh, oops.
Yeah. You sound like a stoner.
Does it hurt you guys? Vomits acid.
Okay.
Recharge drone.
Look, can we get the?
Oh, yeah.
Is the mini cart here? No. Oh.
I think the
No.
feather drone is like one of the best. That
Yeah,
thing
that
is
was
so
so
Yeah,
good.
so
good.
Very
good.
good.
Yeah.
Do we get a heal
Uh,
or just save? I don't know.
I don't. Did any of us lose HP?
No, I didn't.
No, I'm 90 HP.
Yeah, I think we just maybe we get one shockwave grenade just in
Yeah,
case
maybe.
there's a monster or something.
Yeah, let's do it. In case there's a monster.
Yeah.
Me
I
and
mean,
the
sometimes
monster.
it's kind of chill. I don't know.
That's true.
All right, get on. We're leaving.
Yep.
Bye.
I'm ready.
Destroying slackers.
See ya, slacker.
Yes,
Destroying
slackers.
slackers.
Wait, his
why
eyes
does he
are
have
red.
eyes?
Next like Mexican campaign.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Oh,
go.
that's funny.
Alright.
God damn.
God damn.
Hitting the road.
Let's go.
Super speed.
Let's go! Okay. Time. Time to lock in!
This
Yep,
is a.
yep.
Alright.
Oh, there's a box.
I have one.
Nice
Box
box.
stuff.
Oh! And a thing.
Oh,
Nice
nuclear
box.
waste, my favorite.
Did I?
Yep.
Sick.
Art here.
Easy. Oh, you okay?
Ooh.
Oh, we have
Beautiful.
two for this one. Yeah, that's true.
You know what?
No,
Maybe we
wait.
should.
A cock ring.
Sorry. Maybe let's take this.
Yeah.
Can you help me with
Do it.
this?
Yeah, wait. Oh, damn! Giga! Alright.
Shit. Oh, I
Well,
fucking broke the
perfect.
cock ring.
Perfect.
Alright.
Launch some?
Yeah, I'm here. I
Yeah,
broke
more
the
like,
cock
what are you
ring that
doing?
time. I was placing it carefully.
Diamond.
Whoa.
Now be careful. Those things break so easily.
Nice.
Yippee! Jesus.
Not really well, I had some spooky moments actually. I lied.
Put the cock ring down carefully. Oh!
Yeah. Trophy.
Trophy.
Okay, I have something.
Oh, guys. Big loot. Wait, is anyone here? Hello? I heard somebody. Lobos?
That used to be my crowd.
A salad?
Yeah?
I need some assistance.
Crown.
We got a big boy
Hello.
here.
God damn.
I guess we should find the
Right.
extraction point. It
Oh,
should
yeah, we
be
should be-
probably the direction we're going.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Guys, I have a problem.
Go
I don't
away,
know.
then.
I don't know how to say. I don't know. I don't feel
go
so good. I don't feel so good. Maybe Apollo can help. How do I remove this?
Oh, there's another one in here. Oh wait, extraction is here, guys.
Oh my god.
I'm fixed.
It's like a fucking toddler who comes into your room at 3 in the morning. Oh, sorry. I screwed up.
Is this where the
Yeah, extraction's in there.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it's actually Lars's real voice without the voice changer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Shit.
Oh,
we're
there,
done.
we have like a
Oh,
big there was a big
Okay,
thing
hold
in
on.
there.
I
Wait,
got
wait.
pissed in real life, so
Reset
I'm
it.
gonna stand here, okay? So
Oh,
be right
right,
back. Be right back, I'm gonna piss.
Salad? You need help with that thing?
I can't get this fucking door out of the way.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there we go. We need 2 of us. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, nice. Okay, there we go. Right, we can get that other thing now.
Yeah. Then oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's still in here.
Wait, I have a strat. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Oh, chill, this is gonna go really well. Oh. Oh. Okay.
Just aim up if you can.
Oh, yeah. Wait, the door shut on us.
Oh, all right.
Look what we found.
Oh.
We found a really
Look what
good
we
treasure.
found.
Wait, what'd you
We found a princess.
Yeah.
A
I'm
pretty
back, what's
princess.
going on? What's
Okay.
going on? What?
Wait,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
the door came off.
Don't tip the water-cooled PC.
All right, the door is out of the
Oh
way.
Oh
my
my
god.
Okay. Alright.
All right, I'm helping.
I think I'm stuck.
Alright.
Oh,
Okay, we got this.
Robot, I'm stuck.
nice.
Why am I? I don't want it here. What the fuck?
Alright.
What's in there?
Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say.
Damn.
That thing has a lot of dings in it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Can't be any worse than the fucking dinosaur that dissed had.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
nice.
Big money.
Easy.
Nice.
Alright, no enemy spawns?
Alright, no enemy spawns. Let's go back.
No enemy spawns? Oh, we're done.
Okay.
Get that
Alright,
trash
let's go.
out of
Let's
here.
get out of here.
Oh, there was a cup.
Easy
Oh,
clap.
Not
Easy
left.
clap.
Yeah.
Wait, where are we going?
Headsman. Everyone hides. Fuck. I need to see.
Oh god. No.
No.
I think this might have died.
Oh my god, your voice is still like the puke thing.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
big
really?
thing.
Oh,
That one is
no.
fine. You get it.
Oh man, I just sneeze.
Oh, they're all dead.
Oh, fuck
Nah, Lobos.
me. Bro, how do you even escape that
run, there's
thing?
no
Get this head. This head here. Here we go.
Okay, head.
Oh.
Can we go?
Oh.
The salad died because there's a
Salad
head there.
died.
Salad?
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Nothing of value was lost, am I right, guys?
We could have healed you, but like that would have been effort, you know.
If you res, you get. Wait, are you at 1 HP, Salad?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get 25 extra health if you get res.
Interesting.
Oh.
I see. This is my teammate,
Yeah.
Cat Despair.
Do we still get the health packs?
Pocket cards?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a
Let's buy
health
some
pack.
packs.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
pocket cat's
Card?
good.
Pocket cards.
Yeah, good.
We don't have enough for the big one.
Ow.
What?
Oh,
We're broke?
we don't have enough money.
Oh
That
my
sucks.
god.
Trade
Wait,
one for
wait, are you guys
seven.
lagging or just me?
Put some small
Oh,
ones
I'm
in.
lagging. Yeah, I see.
Oh no. Well, luckily it saves. All good, chat. All good. Wait, what? Our Steam. Wait, what day is it today? No, it's not Steam maintenance, is it? Let me reboot the game. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. You have to invite. Oh, hello? Can they hear me? Hello? Hello? Wait, test. Hello? Oh, they haven't joined yet, I guess. Hello? Wait, are they talking to each other? Because I can't hear anything.
Hello. Your lights done better if you manage voice and throw yet. WTF. Not my audio is broken. 1K. I just learned how to read. This audio is a report. Does any of this voice work?
Should I
Sadly, so I very how I voice with words when I realize I'm not talking.
Milk ISP. Hello? Oh, okay.
Hello?
I think it's working.
Good.
Yeah, it was
Not
weird.
milk ISP. Yeah.
Wait. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Ping's decent.
That was definitely an interesting lobby. Real dystopian future.
Great.
Test.
Alexa, your voice doesn't work.
Test.
I can't hear Larksa.
I can hear Alexa now.
I see your voice
That's-
moving, but I don't hear it.
You're trolling me.
Hello?
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hear me?
You hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Hear you.
Nice internet.
Mine.
NA internet.
Pass-
I can't, man.
Sorry, it's
Oh,
from
nice.
Walmart.
We didn't lose progress.
Heyo. Oh, did we not buy anything, I guess?
guess
Yeah,
not.
I
We're
guess.
gamers.
Guess we're just
Damn.
collecting money.
Welcome, you
Stacking up
students!
cash.
Collecting money on
Is it?
1
Oh.
HP.
Ooh, I got a magic book.
Yippee!
Yo. Yippee.
Book.
Don't break the diamond. Don't break the easy. Oh! Jesus! This.
Empty.
Empty!
like my soul.
I'm not touching the vase.
A frog! Let's go.
Are you?
I'm not gonna break this. I'm gonna
Actually, I found it. I found kind of a glitch.
Oh, you need help?
Oh yeah.
Although we have 2 extractions, maybe it's this way? Maybe. God.
Oh, he's chasing somebody.
Not us anymore.
Oh, he stopped. He stopped. I see him down there. He's coming. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Coming.
I don't see him right now. Get. Oh, it's not working anymore. I was like, oh, he's coming. He's here. He's here.
Oh, there's a staff in here.
I see it. I see it. Can we blast him? There's also puke thing. There's a puke thing behind you.
This has got to be extract, though.
I want to blast him.
I want to try to blast the puker. How does the can the staff like? Can you fire it?
I think it just auto fires.
Oh, you killed
shit.
me!
Oh, did I get you? Oh.
Bro, the fucking head got
No!
God, that's exactly what I hoped would not happen. Oh, perfect.
Oh god, there's like a mage on him.
Doink! No! Oh my god! Alien! Wait.
Oh my god.
I'm
Dude,
never
the-
letting Lobos use the staff again.
Dude, I said I'm gonna take the vase and I'm not gonna break it. The second I picked it up, the fucking head started chasing me.
Blast! Fire! Activate staff! Staff! Oh. I don't know.
He's gonna see Larks or Apollo and kill them now.
Wait, are those hourglasses?
Yeah, maybe it only like
Hourglasses,
fires like
dude.
against teammates.
Okay. This I'll get you. Don't worry. I bet you the extraction point's this way. And well,
Oh, he's losing money on it already.
oh, is this it? It's got to be it, right? I'll drop it off, and then checking map. Got to be this way. Got to be.
The trail.
Oh, at least those can get my head.
Is it
Yeah.
losing? Oh, it's losing value. Oh
Look,
fuck! Shit.
You try to get across the floor. What you expect?
No. Oh, you bonk it.
Thank
You
you.
bonk it.
And she's gonna
it blows
flame me
up.
for
Okay,
breaking
I
the
get it.
vase.
Okay. All right. Operation Save Disc. I got you.
Oh, she puked all over it.
Are you kidding me?
It's worth nothing now.
Okay, go. You need to quarantine yourself.
Oh my god.
You need to go stop. You're puking everywhere. Dude, this is my Gucci shirt, man. What the fuck? We're not okay.
No!
We're
Jesus
the opposite of
Christ.
okay.
I'm leaving. I'm out.
Wait. We have to rest cement.
Oh my god.
I have just said.
Okay, yeah, cement tab should be here too somewhere. Yeah?
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, it's
here.
fine, it's fine.
It's here.
Okay, careful for the face hugger is going to hug you. Oh,
Oh my fucking god.
oh I found a set.
We're not making it. We're gonna have no money.
Okay.
Nah. We can do it. Once we're back, we got this.
Yeah, the cube is here. The cube is here.
Wait, the
The cube's now worth like 2k.
Yeah, get his at. Where's the cube? Yeah. We bring the cube.
Yeah. Okay.
It's worth nothing.
There's more
now.
than one. Yeah, there's more than one cube as well.
Terrible, actually.
Yeah, there's more.
I did find the staff. The staff is worth 14k, but
Okay.
Oh, what? 14?
yeah, it's very far away
Whoa.
though.
Dude, I'm like
This is not
stuck.
good.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay.
How much is it? 2K? All right.
Is that enough?
Alright.
No.
No.
Give me 5k. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Yeah, wait, there's another cube.
We'd have had enough
Here.
if that
Here.
fucking vase didn't break.
Yeah.
There?
I saw it. I think it was.
I made it so far and then it broke on the door.
Yeah, it was here.
Oh!
Hey,
this is worth a lot.
let's.
Okay.
11k, boys. Okay.
Ooh, there's. Look at all these.
Giga.
These all
Look
the
at
chips?
these, they're empty.
Empty?
D.
Oh my god.
Will it be
Straight
5K when
back.
it makes it there? That was the
It might be
question.
less if they carry on dragging it across the floor.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, be rich.
Yeah, let's go!
Let's go. This way.
Oh, I couldn't see.
Yeah.
This way?
Alright.
Okay. Oh, let's go! Giga!
Nice. Okay.
Okay. Now we only need
Okay.
another like 20 something K.
Okay,
New
nice.
compilation
Only one more.
video. R.E.P.O.
And we get them back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome back. Max return.
Woohoo! Oh, we have money here.
Nice. Yeah. What
Okay,
do we do with this
that-
money?
Next one.
Where's the cart?
It's back here.
Okay, Larksa, that vase breaking didn't count because I was getting chased, okay?
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, dude, I fucking ran with it and I died here with it. It was so sad.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Oh, all right. Lobos activated it, so we can see where to go.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Okay, nice.
I was probably trying to take the the staff.
Yeah, the staff, yeah.
The staff of
Yeah,
Jordan.
I think he had it like right near the point
Just
Okay.
don't go
There's
near
something
him
big
when he's
in
holding
here.
That thing.
on the right.
Oh, is there? Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's a
there's-
boss.
Oh no! Okay, I've got to redeem myself.
Oh, okay, Tomato, you do
Oh,
it.
nice. We can put it
I've got
together.
to redeem
We have to
myself.
teamwork
I'm like,
this.
Oh, wait,
We can't
wait,
solo
there's
this.
an alien. There's an alien.
It's okay. It's. Okay, it's gone.
Okay,
It's not gone.
Oh god,
It's
there's
not gone.
that.
I think Lux is dead.
Yeah. Okay, when the alien leaves, let's put the face in the cart. The cart close. Okay. Down gently.
I don't think this is gonna wait.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Lobos has enough burn. I'm taking it. Get out of the way.
Wait, where's Lux's head?
Wait, Lars had died?
It's right here.
Where's she? Ow. Oh. Oh no.
Hello? Oh! Hi. Oh, yo,
Yes.
my
No.
God, dude. I'm taking this.
We have 2 hourglasses.
Oh, yeah, 2 hourglasses. That's right.
But did he die?
No, he dropped the
Oh no, he's alive.
He dropped the
You sound drunk.
Maybe I am.
Broke off.
Oh, there's an item right here. Lobos, hold on.
This is.
Lobos.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Another little yellow item here. Oh, look at this. This is 3K.
Extraction's right here. So. Well, I mean that'll finish
Oh,
it. if we
okay. I'm
drop
not gonna put it in
So,
yet.
The hourglass is over here. Yeah.
Damn, he's extra glow.
Let's go.
Wait, can you grab 2 at once? No, I got 10.
Oh, careful.
Your eyes get super big when you're cowering, right? Your eyes are massive. Oh my fucking god.
Okay, let's drop them.
Oh god, okay.
Okay.
Dude, have you noticed that when you
Oh.
Oh!
Dang, nice. Nice.
Oh.
have you noticed that when you're holding them, your eyes get like really big?
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, that was
yeah,
so
yeah.
funny. That was so funny from my POV, seeing all of you guys on the hourglass. Oh.
Wait, we just have to watch out for the head.
I'm stuck on your fucking head, bro. Move! Move!
Oh my fucking god.
Where's that?
Don't vomit on me. Don't vomit. Oh, stuck inside this, they couldn't.
Like somebody's farting over here.
Wait, where's Apollo? What happened to Apollo?
I don't fucking know where is she. Oh. It was just so funny seeing this puke in the background while we were hiding.
I'm gonna check. Okay, the head isn't here. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. It's coming.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
As long
I
as
thought
we
you were
don't
okay if you
walk-
don't. Yeah, if you don't shine the light on it, but I
Oh,
guess.
the double kill.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god.
Salad's got
Salad.
this.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
this.
he's got it.
Don't take the
Easy.
heads. Who cares?
Yeah,
Oh god.
just get out.
Oh, he's coming.
I mean,
back.
I think
And
you
the
can run
alien-
full speed with the head anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, behind him, the puke
God,
thing.
this is really
Oh
bad.
no.
It's fine, it's fine, it's
no.
fine.
He's got this.
Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locked him.
gamer.
He clutches these.
Yep.
He breaks all the vases,
No,
but he
no.
clutches these.
That was his chance. You have to wait for another cycle.
Oh, and the fish as well.
Oh.
Oh god, he's looking. Oh no. Oh. He left you.
I think he's got this. If he gets past the head, he should be good.
Yeah. Oh, run!
No. Bro! Oh shit!
Oh, he's dead. He's fucked.
Oh no.
Oh,
Wait.
Oh
wait.
my god.
Clutch?
Whoa. Whoa.
Stealth?
Gamer.
That was smart.
Oh, he's coming around. He's coming around.
Oh shit, that
Oh,
was not
God.
smart. Oh fuck, it's...
Oh no.
He took the map back. Where'd he go?
Dude, if he falls down this hole, it'd be a very dramatic death.
That'd be so funny.
Where's the head? Oh, there I see it.
Hey, it's just there, yeah.
Yeah.
Run!
Oh? Go for it!
Go!
Oh,
Go!
he's got like no HP. I just noticed.
Yeah, super tiny
Holy-
HP. Oh, it's right here!
Oh,
He's
let's
gonna
go!
get
Hey!
Yeah.
Let's go!
Nice.
Jesus!
Easy!
Yeah, I just about shit myself when it started chasing me.
Yeah, that was scary.
I thought you were
so
dead.
scary!
Yeah,
Oh my
same.
god.
That was terrifying.
Let's buy some health packs.
Bro,
Yeah.
90K.
Put them all in there.
90K. We can buy another full cart.
Boom!
Damn, we're rich!
What happened to you? You just both of you fucking died. I was.
Yeah, he just caught me under the
Yeah, he
Under the
was thinking
table.
he put you under the table.
stereo.
It's because I was whispering. I think he heard me.
Oh.
No, it's all
Yeah.
Larch's fault.
Oh!
What happened to you, Apollo? You just disappeared.
Wait, what did happen to me? The head
what
got
happened
me, I
to you?
think.
Oh.
Yeah, the head was chasing me. Yeah.
Bro, that
I think
head's
we should get
fucked.
stam upgrades. They're so cheap.
let's get some
Only
upgrades.
2K.
I think it's only one per person, so we have to keep like.
Yeah.
No.
There's like
Buying
3 you
more
can
and more.
buy each
Shut up.
run, at least.
Sprint speed.
Oh, the
Strength
turntables.
Why all these upgrades?
I missed.
Wait, what's
I
the
missed.
range? Oh, no, I don't want range.
Hang on. No, stop.
I got strength.
Oh yeah, what is?
Come back
Oh,
here.
strength makes it easier to carry stuff.
Ow! Did I
Yeah.
hammered myself?
What? I literally.
Hey, what is this
getting hammered?
valuable
No,
tracker?
there's no
Okay,
way.
Lobos,
This is-
let's see.
I'm literally shooting you.
Alright,
How
I'm gonna
valuable am I?
track.
You knocked me out.
I think it's
Oh,
broken.
money doesn't carry
work.
over.
What's the gun?
0.
Oh god.
0. Wow. Okay.
Apollo, please, I'm sorry.
Who are you shooting?
No, it's time to flush him.
What the?
What the fuck? Okay. I'm being flushed.
No, money does carry
Someone open
over.
the toilet, please. Open the toilet, please.
Don't help
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Don't help him. You're all accomplices to this crime. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I don't mean fucking.
You broke the toilet! Holy shit! That's crazy.
I'm getting out of here.
Oh my god.
Alright, let's buy this stuff and get out of here.
Buy the
go.
stuff.
Okay. Oh, same. Oh, it's because we died.
Yeah, we all died.
Yeah, imagine not having 26. Crazy.
Okay.
I see that jump boost. Don't think I don't.
Easy.
I'm a hundo.
Take some upgrades if you want, guys. We have plenty.
Yeah.
Now here you go.
I sold 2.
Yes, sir.
Straight.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
What's this?
Okay.
Oh, I didn't get any heals, so it's okay. I got 20
Oh.
health. Wait, can I have maybe
Wait,
like
can I
10
give
from
I'll
each
give
of you?
one.
Yeah, 10 each.
Yeah.
How do you
There you go.
Okay, nice.
Thank
That's
you.
a nice mechanic.
Alright, let's go, gamers.
Let's
Yeah,
go!
let's
I just can't pick him up right now.
This game makes me want to chug a monster.
I think that would be a
agree.
terrible idea.
Oh, the spooky house.
Headman Manor again.
No.
3
The man
extraction
never
points.
ends
All
well.
right.
Free? Damn.
Yeah, this place is
3.
like, there's not that much loot.
I found a ship. Oh, Giga valuable.
Ooh, let's go.
Ooh.
Oh. Wait, I'm gonna open the door a bit more.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Hey.
What did
Chip
you
in a
do?
bottle? Excuse me?
Yeah? I'm scared. Okay. Scusi.
Okay. Oh, a safe. With fucking now. Bro, where is my fucking
Spectral rhino.
Yeah. I don't think I did.
Careful, careful.
No, it's good.
You guys just might want to put that on the extraction point. Or
I
do you want to
can't
put it
see.
in here?
I want to put it in, yeah. Here?
Okay, just
Yeah.
let go.
It's okay. Oh god, okay.
It's okay.
Oh, jeez.
guys,
Spectral Rhino number 2!
Grab this. I got swole strength upgrade. I'm good.
guys, give way. Give way.
Nice.
Alright.
The hell are you carrying?
I'm
Oh.
getting so motion sick. You have no idea.
What?
Oh, it makes you spin?
What's that? Oh!
Oh, I'm just gonna have to put it on the floor. I'm just gonna have to put it on the
There's a
floor.
big
in there.
dinosaur
Hang
over
on.
here.
I got it.
Guys,
If you want to drop
I'm
it.
stuck now.
Oh shit.
Okay.
I'm stuck, okay.
Okay.
I need someone to help me carry the dinosaur.
Oh, yeah! Come here.
Okay. Oh god. Hold on. Wait. Can you make some space? I'll plop it. Okay. Hold on. Oh. Oh, I dropped it and it didn't take any damage. Nice. What?
Oh god.
Oh, the kamikaze things. I'm gonna put it in. Oh yeah.
Is everyone okay?
This thing's coming to explode. Can you juke it? Okay, there.
Ah, nice.
All right. Yeah, put that in there. Did we lose anyone? Okay, we're good.
No, we're fine.
No.
fine.
There's a big dinosaur over here.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do the. We found a huge dinosaur. We should
Well,
take
there's
that
a
too.
saxophone.
We should take that to the next extraction.
A gramophone.
Whoa, what is
Yeah.
happening?
Wait! We'll go other way! Other way!
Okay.
There's a guy with a gun.
It's the guy with the gun. Wait, where is? Oh.
The man with the machine gun?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he just killed this.
I'm okay. I put down a stun mine.
Guys, I found a.
He got hit. Guys, he got hit. Guys, come through. Come here. Guys, come here. He's stunned.
Oh, you killed him!
Oh god. Oh Jesus. I'm sorry. I thought.
Okay, I'm fine. Okay, where's the? Don't look up.
I didn't say he was dead. I said he was stunned.
You print money. I like money.
Oh, guys, extraction point. Marked it. What? That does not sound good. Oh, hey guys.
Hey, there.
Oh, holy shit.
There's two. The Aladdin likes to get blast.
Well, I activated an extraction point.
Yeah, our loot is like out this way.
Case
but
closed.
There's two of the gun boys. I'm gonna check.
This way. Hey guys. Yeah?
Okay, we've got the cart here.
Okay, we got enough money. Do you have their heads?
Oh.
There's one head in there, it looks like.
Oh, it's a bomb. Yeah, skull.
Well,
You might nuke the loot. I'll go get a head.
okay.
I'm gonna lure them over here.
Oh,
Here you go.
got it.
Here's one.
Nice. Okay. Follow?
Yeah, find a diamond.
Okay.
Oh, fuck this thing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take
This
the cart.
is not
You
gonna-
take the cart. You take. Oh.
Okay, okay. Okay, nice.
Heck yeah.
I have enough? Oh, let's go! Gaming. Did we get the heads?
Yeah, yeah, they're both in there.
Okay, nice.
Alright, they should be.
Oh!
Holy fucking
What the fuck?
It hit you in the head.
Wait, where's the last one?
I don't know. Maybe Lobos will activate. Oh, it should be this way. This direction. If you look on the map,
Okay.
it's like undiscovered.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Damn, this map is so cracked.
Which way? Oh.
The map is really good.
Yeah. Oh. I didn't do something
Don't.
by the
I don't
way.
think
Is
it's
it
this way.
left
Oh.
click?
Oh wait. Nope, not here. Shit.
We're carrying. Oh, what's that? Is that a statue?
Oh,
of...
yay! It's in here.
Help! Help!
Shit. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good.
Nice. Okay, make sure it fits. If it's out, it's gonna... Yeah, there.
Heck yeah.
Hey. Oh.
Oh,
Easy.
right. Guess we forgot to put this in. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's just
Right.
Whatever it is.
broke.
Alright.
All right.
Okay, let's
Wait,
go.
are they dead?
I don't know.
Lobos
We
is
should...
alive.
Lobos!
Oh, Sal, I heard someone.
I hear
Hello?
heartbeats.
Actually, I'm gonna heal you because I have 1 HP.
Okay.
There's a mine down. The gun guy's here. Oh, fuck. Okay, go. Somebody grab Salad's head.
Okay. Easy!
Woohoo! I think Larks is dead.
Oh.
Oh.
No,
Yeah,
we can
Larks is
Larsa die! No, she's here.
Oh.
No,
Ah, there's a bomb thing. There's a bomb thing.
I'm going.
Oh god.
Goodbye, Larksa.
He scoped me! Oh!
what the hell?
Fucking me and Lobos
Right
tried getting
behind
the
me.
dinosaur. It didn't go very well.
Yeah, I got 360 no scope by Grandpa.
Bam. Grandpa is ruthless.
Yeah.
What's this?
Ooh, the
Zero
indestructible
gravity
drone.
orb?
Oh. Indestructible drone? Damn, that's crazy.
Look at this thing.
Oh, that sounds really
Can't
cool.
break
Zero
anything.
gravity orb. Look at this.
Oh, let's go.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wait,
Try
that's
jumping.
crazy.
Oh.
There's so much cool stuff in this game. Like, I bet you could hide from the
Holy
monster with this thing.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. That's
So
so
expensive.
cool. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is.
That's so cool!
Yeah.
Let's buy some
Wow.
health too.
Yeah, indestructible.
Huh?
Expensive as fuck, though.
Wait, how much?
It's 48k for this, I think.
Damn.
For that one, yeah.
Yeah, I
Holy
can do one more round.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Should we
let's
get
do
the
one more.
indestructible drone?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do
Did
it.
Yeah.
All right. How many of you guys need health?
Me, I have one.
Me.
I'm
I
on
have-
26.
I mean, we might as well
thing
spend the
is-
rest on...
Health
What?
doesn't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
really
yeah.
matter.
Health is important.
Well, I think if you have the health upgrade, you probably don't get one shot by the gun guy. Most likely.
Yeah,
Maybe.
true.
Yeah.
What is...
I mean, we can get some
Inflatable
more
hammer.
upgrades.
Hammer's so
could,
cute.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, map player count upgrade.
Oh?
There's like
Map
unique
Sammy.
upgrades. So you could see how many people are alive, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, if we get a gun, we can kill gunman.
Yeah.
Was
that's
there a
not
gun
bad
in
too.
this one? No.
Yeah.
I didn't see one this time.
No.
No gun. Gosh.
All right, I'm buying.
Alright, let's
For
do
the ship
it.
we go.
Let's go!
Oh.
I'm stealing this orb.
Did I get the hammer in there last second? I might have on accident. Oh well. Anyways.
Okay,
We
let's
got the
go!
hammer! Oh.
Oh no, we got a
accidentally.
hammer.
Oh no. Okay.
Nice.
No,
I'm juiced up.
Oh, stamina
Nice.
upgrade.
I'm
whoever
juiced up.
wants.
Here.
Juice yourself up,
Oh.
Lobos.
Take a shockwave.
Yoink.
Where's everyone's health?
I'm good.
Do you need
GG.
health?
I have 26.
All right, let's all give Lobos 10.
I'll take
Yeah,
a
yeah,
single
give you that.
donation.
You and Apollo could give him 20. Well, you've got 100 each.
No.
Damn. Yeah, I have 70. I'm struggling. I'm struggling.
That's crazy. That's
Alright.
crazy.
Let's go.
Okay. Time to lock in.
Omega look.
It is time.
Is it gonna be 4?
Damn.
I think it's 4 terminals.
Level
Oh,
five.
three. Okay,
Three.
still 3.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's
Nice.
manageable.
Mhm.
Alright,
Alright,
let's go, let's go, let's go! Oh, have you been here?
Hey.
Sorry, Lobos.
Oh, yay!
What's this?
Oh god, the fucking frog noises are starting. It's Jova.
Careful.
What is it?
It's an explosive barrel, but it's worth a lot. Yeah, all right. We got this. No problem. 11.
That's Giga.
I go so far.
Nice.
Okay, nice.
Boom.
You just give him my fucking life.
Hey.
Something. What was it?
Test.
I didn't mean to. Oh.
What was that? What was that? It's
That's
like
a flamethrower.
Oh, it's a sick. Did you get carried yourself?
Yeah, probably.
Looks kind of heavy.
Hold on, we should find the next extraction point. It's
Oh
probably
yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Somewhere. Hey, there's a stairwell. Oh no.
Ow!
I'm sorry. It's not down here. You saw nothing, chat.
All right.
Hi.
Higher. Okay.
Alright, alright.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Flop.
Yep.
Nice.
Good.
Okay. What else?
Oh, there's a basement.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was nothing down in the basement.
Yeah, there's a lot this way.
Yeah, I think
That's
there should be.
Oh my god!
Okay! Guys!
Whoa.
Oh
Whoa.
shit. Okay.
But careful,
Okay,
the duck
okay.
is here, so...
Oh yeah, if you touch him, he... The extraction point
Yeah,
should be
those-
close by. We need to find that first,
I'm
I
looking,
think.
I'm looking. Oh
Did
my
you break
god.
something
this,
again?
This bridge room sucks.
Oh,
Oh, it looks like it might be straight ahead here.
There's quite a few doors.
Boom.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay.
Where is the big thing?
What happened? She touched the duck, I think. Oh, never mind. That's this dude.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm upstairs here. But yeah, robot thing. Oh, the shadow man thing.
Hey, dumbass.
Not.
Oh my.
Okay, did something happen to the big box?
I'm sorry, chat.
What the? Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
What the fuck is that?
It's a chainsaw.
Oh, not the shadow guy. Bye bye. Put me in the toilet. Salad?
This?
Yeah, we should take this big thing.
Yeah, the fucking flamethrower dude's nearby. Do you know where the next thing is?
Yeah, it's already marked. Oh, he took me again. Goodbye.
Bye.
On the next one. Salad's got to start moving that thing, dude.
I didn't do anything!
What the hell was that? Did you just throw that at the ceiling?
No! I didn't throw it. I didn't throw anything! They just started!
I don't believe it.
They just started by themselves.
Stop the cap.
Oh god, careful. Oh Jesus.
Alright, I've got the door open.
Is it in here?
Yeah, it's in. Oh, fuck me.
I can't watch.
Oh my god.
Okay.
What did I just witness?
What?
This.
Dude, it did.
What?
No, help,
No,
Salad!
no,
I can't fucking do this on my own!
No.
I thought I could trust you, this. I'm sorry.
Who has the invincible drone, goddammit?
It's on the thing still, I think. Oh my god.
Okay, here's Larksa.
Okay, yeah, put alert. Oh yeah, bring that over there.
Did you get Lobos' head? It was here somewhere. Maybe
I
in
don't
here.
know.
Wait, I can look.
I
Oh, you got it. Nice. Okay. All right. I found the third.
Okay, nice.
Oh, go!
This better? It's not even.
Wait, there's a monster?
just did it on its own. But it's gonna be a bit scary.
Okay.
Oh, what's in here? Oh, nothing.
Is this the way?
No, that's
Okay,
not-
guys, I'm gonna activate the extraction.
This better not be how your Death Stranding 2 experience is gonna be.
What?
It's over here.
Wait, are we supposed to go here?
Yeah. Look.
Wait, so did they all get rezzed? Oh no, not again!
No.
Guys, go activate the fucking thing! Oh, Sal!
No!
Oh! Follow!
What is happening?
Oh. Oh. No! No! He didn't activate the fucking thing!
Oh my god, where the fuck am I going?
Where the hell is everybody going?
Oh!
Is Salad
What?
dead? Yeah? No fucking way! Nothing down here. Where is everyone? Is everyone dead, dude? Dist scissor hands. Yeah. God.
Hello?
Hi. Big monster down here. There's 2 big items that way. I haven't broken that much, okay.
Oh, what happened?
No fucking way. Roll it up.
Wait.
Apollo, I need help.
Where are you? Where are you? Hello?
Oh god.
For the record, the
Why
cart with all
is
our
a ghost
items
talking to
is
me or
currently
something?
in the water. Dist.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
The thing with all our items is in the water beneath us.
Oh.
Where are
Oh man.
You guys did this thing where like she went through and then you passed
Are you
and she didn't
alive?
know and then she went back and the cart was gone and then oh my god.
you? I don't understand. Why is
Wait, did you
Sasha's
die
hitting?
when
We did my
the shadow guy
work,
ran
though.
into you, Salad?
Yeah, he fucking knocked me off.
Twist him off.
I see.
Fuck.
Oh, well, okay. Okay. All right.
Oh, that was a funny one.
Throwing for content, I
That was the most Apollo death ever.
Well, time for the arena.
My card. That's so
see.
stupid.
Time for the arena.
Arena.
Okay, let's go.
Yo. What's this?
Okay, let's go.
Oh.
Wait, am I here? Okay. Okay, the greatest weapon of all, the guitar.
That is a good weapon, yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, mine. Mine.
What?
Mine.
Stop stealing my weapons!
Oh.
Well, well, well.
Die!
You die!
Oh, I got the bat.
Oh yeah, the sword is stronger.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh, you hit yourself, dummy. Time for my war hammer. Boom.
What the hell?
Damn.
Oh my god.
Wow.
King
Oh.
Drew.
All right. Oh,
Alright,
Alright,
Yeah, GG, guys.
GG's.
That was really fun.
GG's.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
That was
Yeah, it was a
really
banger.
fun.
Thanks for the games.
Yeah. Thanks for the games.
Thanks for the
Good
games.
stuff. GG, guys.
Bye bye,
Bye-bye,
guys. Bye bye,
everybody.
bye bye,
See
bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
all right. Yeah, that game was really fun. Definitely want to play more. I'm honestly really curious, like, how much, like, does anyone know? Is there actually, like, can you beat it, or does it just go forever? Quota 10 repo runs. Well, Lethal Company is fun. I actually think this game has some like pretty interesting ideas though. I think needing to like deliver the loot around the facility is interesting because it makes you need to like I don't know, there's kind of like a strategy to like how to play it.
Oh.
Yeah, that was really fun. Let me end the paired chat. Oh, I'm the only one left. Yeah, I think I might call it a night here, guys. I've been doing some really long streams lately, and yeah, I might go get some dinner, I think. Playing some solo now. No, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm pretty hungry. I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna call it a night. We've done like 3 13-hour, 14-hour streams back to back with Monster Hunter, so yeah, I hope you guys had fun. We'll definitely do more of this game. It was pretty cool. I know Ella and Leppa want to play it. It's up to 6 people, so I'll probably play with Ella and Leppa whenever they decide to play. Yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. I'm gonna give a raid to somebody here.